Hey, have you guys ever heard of Patreon?
I think I have.
Yeah, I think it's like a royal guard.
It's that maybe, but also it's a website where podcasters and other creators can get people to give them money for making their product.
You mean we
on.
can get paid for this?
Kind of. For a mere $3 a month, you, loyal listener, can feed or get drunk a starving podcaster.
I feel like we need some like Sarah McLachlan behind this kind of. I will remember you.
I almost did with arms wide open. I was like, that's not the song.
That's how you get people to not give you money.
So check it out. Patreon.com/worstpeople. That's WORSE. $3 a month. You get access to exclusive episodes. Find us, love us, support us. Thank you. Welcome back to Mental Health Month. This week we're discussing my pick, Donnie Darko. I'm Derrick.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jack.
And this is Bad Movies,
Worst People.
Well, I got to choose a movie this week. For the first week, we did The Labyrinth, a beautiful fantasy story about a child and her hopes and dreams.
David Bowie's crotch.
David Bowie's balls. And then we did That Thing You Do,
With
a wonderful,
Tom Hanks' balls.
saccharine, lovely story of a group rising to stardom
And failing.
and losing it, but it's a happy ending anyway because he
We're
finds
also
love.
putting an asterisk on that because Derek needs to watch the original cut. And I don't often say that.
And then I chose a movie where a teenager shoots a guy in the face and a jet engine crushes a house.
Don't forget
He gets squished by a jet engine.
Smooshed.
Smoosh, that's what it is. Dude, that kid's delivery is everything. Smooshed by a jet engine.
You know what would have made it better? Freaky Baker did it.
Ricky Baker, smushed by a jet engine. Got all squished up, you see. You fucking slow down, you punk rocker.
And I was debating between watching the theatrical cut and the director's cut. We ended up watching the director's cut mostly because the 4K for my theatrical cut is fucked up.
And then also the score.
Well, so I like the director's cut more. There's a big debate on the internet between people who like it about which one's better, which one's worse. A lot of people like the opening song for the original cut more, which is a song by Echo and the Bunnymen, who I'm not familiar with except for that song in that movie. But it's a little more sad. So
Yeah.
they're like, it gives it a better start, whatever. It has a little bit different pacing. They say that this one spoon feeds the story to you. I still think it's confusing if you haven't seen it 25 times.
Yeah, I think I finally understood it this time.
Confusing. I don't think it's confusing. I think it's deep.
Okay, yeah.
There's very many layers, like an onion.
Like an onion or like a shepherd's pie. It's all the same layer, but there's a lot of it.
But we went with this one because I was going to watch them both beforehand and decide, and then my 4K was fucked up, and I have to wait for a replacement disc, so we watched this one.
Man, talk about a mental health movie. I'm just going to watch the theatrical cut, followed by the director's cut, and then I'm going to watch whichever one I like with Jack Moore.
So this director's cut is 134 minutes. I think it's 14 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. Most of the stuff that's added is stuff that I personally like. It does slow down the pacing a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff between the family that you don't get. Like
So-
the conversation with the dad that you really liked.
I was
later
going to say,
on.
I won't know because this is my second time watching this, and it's been easily 20 years. I don't know what's new and what's not, but I definitely love that scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I do, and while we just talked about it, I love this soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm fairly
is
certain I've only seen this version.
Yes, you have, because you said you'd never seen it when I got this, and Patrick came over and we watched it, and I made you watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if Patrick had seen the director's cut, because he showed this to me. He's the one that showed this movie to me back in like 2004, and it was definitely the theatrical cut, even though 2004 is when this director's cut came out. But he had the DVD from before, the before time. This movie came out in 2001, and that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
And it was directed by Richard Kelly, who's only done 3 movies. Well, 3 like feature-length movies. He did some shorts, but this, Southland
We've all
Tales,
done some shorts.
Southland Tales, and The Box. So Southland Tales is another like Richard Kelly original. It's bizarre, it's confusing, it's deep. You're not sure what's going on, but at the end of it, at least for me, you're like, I think I liked it.
Did I only watch part of that with
What
you?
an
Yeah, you
endorsement.
came in at the end.
And I was
think
like, what
it.
the fuck is happening?
She came in the
But
last
you do
45
that.
minutes.
You walk into this living room and say, "What the fuck is happening?" more often than you don't when
This
he's
is
watching
true.
something.
You
Yeah,
watch
I
weird
was
shit,
going to say,
babe.
clarify that
recently-
it's about when I'm watching movies,
Oh,
not just
yes, yeah.
walking in and going, what the fuck is
No,
happening
you
in
told
here?
me
It's
something
an orgy.
recently that was on the screen, and my brain can't even remember what it was because it was so weird. It was like a Santa Claus turd. I don't know.
That's just South Park.
It was something you were talking about at work. You described, and when you
I
walked
think
in,
it was
looked at it
the-
for a little bit.
I think it was
it The Fly?
Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Isle.
That
Oh,
sounds about right.
yeah.
With the
that
big blue
one.
monkeys singing songs with a little
Yep,
kid,
yep.
and there's a duck named Captain Quack Quack.
Yep.
That
Block
was
that right
weird.
out.
That-
But that's not the only one. You've told
No.
this multiple times of either you or your daughter. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, she'll usually walk in after work and just watch like 2 minutes and then just go, "You watch weird shit," and walk out of the room.
My
Nope.
new shirt.
You watch weird shit.
But I'm gonna get my gripe out here. I think Richard Kelly's in director prison, and I don't think it's fair. Because this movie
did
was
something
not
or said
hyper
something
successful.
or-
No, it's not that. It's just it was long before all that stuff. He's never been canceled as far as I know. It's just
Oh,
there
I
was
just
this
know I meant
movie-
more like pissing off the wrong executive kind of thing.
No, I think it's just he spends a decent amount of money, even though none of his movies were high budget.
Yeah.
But he spends a lot of money and the things don't pay back the way they want them to.
He's not a payday for him.
But he also, both of his big movies, this and Southland Tales, got fucked by release stuff. This one came out in 2001. I want you to guess what month.
Was it October?
Yes. Which happened,
Question
what happened
mark?
right before October of 2001.
What happened September 11th, 2001?
I never remember. I always forget.
So people weren't in the mood to watch a movie about a plane tragedy.
Yeah, weird.
And then also it wasn't helped by the fact that there's a high schooler shooting another high schooler. And that was becoming a thing at that point. That was still new to us. We would still get upset about that.
Yeah, Columbine.
Yeah,
There was
2001.
coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on the news instead of just being like, what? There was another 12 school shootings today. And, so all that happened. There was a bunch of other stuff. But there was a whole thing with film festivals and distributors, and I'm not going to get into all that. But basically, like, it was supposed to come out, and then 9/11 happened, and so they just kind of secretly put it out. But I can't remember the exact box offices on the other two movies we did, but we've kind of realized that all the ones we picked were not successful.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this one was actually the most successful by, like, ratio. So it cost about $6 million to make.
That's a fucking nothing budget.
Yeah, it only made $7.5 million in theaters, but then it ended up making about $10 million when it released on home video.
Yeah, this is a cult classic
Yeah,
for a
100%.
lot of people.
It did not get any traction until it came out on home video, and especially when it released theatrically in the UK.
Yeah.
They loved it.
It's like I mentioned when he has the date written on his arm. I said, "Man, somebody out there's got that tattoo."
Oh, a lot of
And
people.
Derrick's like, a lot of people. It's like an emo kid tramp stamp.
He actually, when he was looking at tattoos, he was looking at that, and he's like,
Well,
fuck,
I was
way
looking
too many
at-
I mean,
people
I have
have
no
that.
problem getting that date tattooed on you. It's just like that. I would never want to copy that
The
exact.
whole arm, yeah.
Yeah.
Our tattoo artist actually has the
Yeah.
28 hours, 6 days, or 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds tattooed on his knuckles, I believe, or
I
on his
think so.
fingers. Not
Yeah.
his- yeah. So
Nice.
So
Shout
he's-
out to
he's
Zip.
into
Zip
it.
is awesome. Go
Yeah.
get work done by Zip.
Yeah, at Zip Tattooist.
I think so, yeah. I should
all
probably know his handle.
Yeah, you should
I just call him.
Oh, that's gonna work for everybody.
And this was this guy's first movie right out of film school. It happened because Jason Schwartzman read the script because it was the darling script of Hollywood. People loved it, but no one wanted to make it because they were like, "This is that great script that'll get you work writing other stuff, but we're not going to make this." Jason Schwartzman loved it. He wanted to be Donnie, and then
Different movie.
very different movie. Probably still good, but very different.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like not Royal Tenenbaums, but it would be something along those lines if Schwartzman was Donnie.
I mean,
Just,
less
just
Anderson.
yeah. Yeah, it's just what's the one that he was in?
Rushmore.
Rushmore.
That's-
I kept thinking Election, and I was like, that's not right.
That's the one I was thinking.
No, is that Matthew Broderick?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, he was on it. So then Drew Barrymore found it, and she really liked it. And then Jason Schwartzman was attached. She was like, "We'll produce it." She gave him $4.5 million. They found the rest elsewhere. And then Jason Schwartzman had to back out and they got Jake Gyllenhaal.
Thank God they did, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is I said it before rewatching. This is his best work.
Yeah.
And it's even more so watching it again. He's doing some weird shit with his face that I like.
Love it.
He's playing that crazy very well.
Like
And-
known. Like
Yeah.
he's experienced this crazy.
But it's not over the top where it's like, oh God. It's like, I don't know, just we've seen it before.
It's the face down looking under these big bushy eyebrows and then a slight smirk, and
But
you're
he
like,
somehow
that's a fucking devil right there.
Keeps like a little boyish charm to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean a big part of that too was the cinematographer, this guy Stephen Poster, who's much older, and Richard Kelly was worried about working with him because he's like, this guy's going to take over my movie, and he showed up on the first day and was like, my job isn't to tell you how to make your movie, my job is to tell you what's going to work and what's not, and to make sure that what you want appears on screen. But he did a lot of stuff with lighting, like watching through all these special features and stuff. Like one of my favorite scenes where Donnie is talking to Frank in the bathroom.
In the mirror.
And he's like got his face down and there's all those dark shadows and he looks very
Yeah.
like Cro-Magnon. And then like Samantha comes in and he like snaps up and all of a sudden his face is bright. It's not two different shots. There was just a light at the top that couldn't hit his face when he was looking down. And as soon as he sat up, it lit up his face and it changes like, it's like a whole different personality all of a sudden. So.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It's noticeable.
And I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he's been in some good stuff. He's been good in some stuff. He's also been in Bubble Boy, and The Day After Tomorrow. But
I remember laughing at Bubble Boy, but I never revisited.
yeah,
Though that was just a remake of the John Travolta Bubble Boy, wasn't it?
yeah. So I mean, he had to have been better.
I don't
than
think John Travolta was in that kind of bubble.
It was the
Yeah.
boy in the bubble,
Well-
but it wasn't as funny. It wasn't him rolling around the world in a bubble having adventures. I don't
Yeah.
think. I never saw the John Travolta.
I don't think
one.
he got into a biplane, dude.
I don't think I watched it. I just know that he was in the Bubble Boy.
Did you see the movie Ambulance? Came out, I think, last year.
No, you've asked me about that. That's the Michael Bay.
Yeah. Watch that for some really weird, good Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He is emotionally jacked in that movie.
I mean, he was in the bad stuff like Prince of Persia, but he was also in a couple of Denis Villeneuve's early movies.
Okay.
Prisoners and Enemy, which he was really good in, and he was also in a movie called Nightcrawler, which is really good, which I think I've mentioned on here before. Where
Yes,
he's
you
like
have.
I vaguely remember.
a accident scene photographer, schlock journalist who's causing the accidents because he's a piece of shit.
And
He's great in that.
He was in, what was it the cop movie he was in? End of Watch.
End of Watch.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
No, he was good in that. I did not care for that movie. I
Yeah.
couldn't finish it. I thought it was insanely boring, but he was good. Actually,
Yeah, it's a watch once for me.
He was in the remake The Roadhouse.
Ugh.
I think I still owe Netflix money because I never sent that back because I lost it. But fuck 'em.
Whoops.
Now they're gonna come knocking on our door.
Yeah, well.
Fuck them.
Come back with a warrant.
We don't have it. We don't have it.
Ooh, he was also Mysterio. Kind of. I mean, he was Mysterio,
Kind of.
but he wasn't like magical, really.
No, well, no, Mysterio wasn't magical. He was an
wasn't he,
illusionist.
though?
No, he was illusionist.
I know, but he was a real illusionist. This guy's using computers and shit.
Yeah, well, but Mysterio didn't have powers. He was working with tricks
He's from
and
a different
technology.
universe, but he's not. Anyway, we're talking about Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh, I know.
And he was also supposed to replace Tobey Maguire when Tobey Maguire wasn't going to come back for Spider-Man 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
because he
would've
was
watched
having
that.
back problems, so he wasn't going to come back.
Because he was 30 playing a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Tired of carrying this franchise.
We'll get into this movie. Oh, you know who else? One more thing. Who else was a big influence in getting this movie theatrically released? Good thing I can't talk tonight.
Right?
Christopher Nolan.
Oh, nice.
He went to the
Recognized
preview
the
screening.
game.
Yeah. I think Drew Barrymore or her partner in Flower Films invited him to the preview screening, him and his wife, and basically he's the one who was like, this movie needs to come out in theaters.
Yeah.
So
Of
Wasn't-
course you would like this.
Wasn't there some bullshit like they went to the Sundance and the festivals and everybody loved it, but then when they wanted to release it, they're like, now chop it up and fucking murder your film.
yeah, well that's happened with both of his movies. So I mean, it was one of those things where they went into Sundance with all the hype. They were the biggest movie. And then at the end, they hadn't sold yet, and so then it was like, "You're not touchable now." That's how Sundance works.
So why
And
do
then they
people
got
go to
picked up by
Sundance?
this new market films that no one's ever heard of, and well, you
Made
go to
some money.
Sundance because, especially at the time in the '90s, and this is 2001, so that's
Yeah.
still riding. That was where you went. That's where Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino and all these people broke out. So.
Matt Damon.
So we open on a beautiful shot of definitely not California.
Oh, he's really going shot by shot, isn't he?
He will go
No,
frame
no,
by
I'm not
frame
gonna
with
do
He's
you.
going. All right, pause here. Okay, pause here. One more thing.
You can see the marine layer laying over the mountains. No, it's supposed to be Virginia. It's definitely California, and it's a really cool dolly
That's
shot.
why I'd ask, because like these kids are playing in like a desert area.
Yeah,
It's like I've never seen that part of Virginia.
yeah, that's the only part that doesn't look like Virginia. Like they did a good job. Like I guess they were saying on some of the stuff with the trees and stuff, they put like fake bases on palm trees, so they would look like trees that grow in Virginia because there are no palm trees.
That makes sense. But yeah, definitely Virginia. She is not.
No.
But there's that really cool dolly shot of Donnie kind of passed out on the middle of a mountain road next to his bike, and that fucking NXS song kicks in this version, which I prefer. The internet would disagree. Fuck the internet.
If what was the other one? Was what?
It was a song from a group called Echo and the Bunnymen. I can't remember what the name of the song is.
No thanks.
It is a little bit more like sad, and it's got that like late '80s like alternative rock.
Yeah, but I'm
going
gonna take NXS over that.
I think it matches the montage better, and I think a lot of people don't. No, I mean the NXS one.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people don't like this one because they're like it's too upbeat. It doesn't give you that like
But
foreboding.
that's what's great about it.
Yeah, I'm like it's upbeat, but you're also seeing a kid waking up from sleep biking in the middle of the mountain.
Sleep golfing.
But I really like this, and every time this song comes on at work, I'm like, everybody shut up. I gotta go ride a bike up a mountain.
You should see the bleeps dance, or sorry, sing this to each other. You haven't lived until you've seen them
I
sing
can't
into
wait.
each other's mouths.
I'm picturing people singing into each other's mouths.
Don't you know that's how kids tell secrets? They whisper it to your mouth and then cough and sneeze in there.
What's happening?
It's Louis C.K.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like this is a whole new way of secrets.
But during the montage, we see the family. So there's the dad, Eddie Darko, played by Holmes Osborne, who we mentioned. That Thing You Do. He's in Election, which is probably why that was in my head. He's also in the other two Richard Kelly movies, Southland Tales. He's a senator. And in The Box, which I haven't seen, he plays a guy named Dick Burns, which I just thought was funny.
All of a sudden, The Box is on my top watch list.
Yes.
Just like that.
It was one of those ones that came out, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it. That's his one for them. I'll see his next movie.
Yeah,
It never happened.
I remember watching the
sucks.
trailers for it. Like, I remember that being a big deal, The Box. I never saw it either. It just seemed like I'm not going to like it.
And then Elizabeth Darko, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, his real-life sister, obviously, who didn't want to do this. She didn't want to act. She had done a couple small roles, but she was trying to do modeling, and Richard Kelly was trying to convince her to do this role. And she's like, no, I don't want to be in movies. I don't want to do that. And he's like, yeah, but like, you're his actual sister. I don't have to get an actress to pretend that she's his sister and have a sibling rivalry.
The moments pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
She's fine.
Why don't you go suck a fuck?
Yeah. How do you suck a fuck? I'm all ears.
That whole conversation, like I've had a family table dinner like this before.
Oh, no way. Like, we've had squabbles and shit, but in my family, you'd be getting, everyone here is washing their mouth out with soap. The little girl's going to get soap in her ears for listening. You should have run away and done a rosary while they were cursing.
Well, that's kind of the mom, right? She's like, we will not have this at the table.
But she's not actually doing anything. It's one of those moms like, don't make me put my foot down. Go outside and smoke your fucking Virginia Slim.
Well, you're in
gonna be
Virginia. You have to,
fine.
right?
I do love
Virginia
the
Slim
payoff.
was also her porn name.
I do love the payoff for that whole scene, though. It's just the long silence, and the little kid, the little sister, Samantha, is like, what's a fuck ass? And the dad just starts laughing.
Yeah,
Dude, that guy is great.
He's one of my favorites, dude.
And then we see Rose Darko, who's the mom. That's Mary McDonnell. She was the first lady in Independence Day.
Yes, she was.
She's President Rosalind on Battlestar Galactica. I know you all know
And
that.
Stands with fists.
and Dance with Wolves. And I don't know if it's because I just watched that, but her entire time on screen, it's like she's relearning English. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like sometimes she can't think of the words to say. Like, oh, how do I tell these people what I'm trying to say right now?
Apparently, she also plays Noah Wiley's mom on ER.
Oh,
Who he's also in this
He's
movie
also in
for
this
the
movie.
listeners.
ooh, connection with her and Frank. He was in Independence Day.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
what, Miguel?
Yeah,
Is that the character's name?
He somehow
Oh,
was,
he's the son.
he was
of
somehow birthed
Quaid.
by Randy Quaid, like seeded by Randy Quaid. No fucking universe. Randy Quaid makes this guy.
I've been trying to figure out what else I've seen this kid in.
Okay,
And I'm like,
so
that and not much that I'm aware of.
Right.
we don't actually see him until like the end of the movie, right? So, or I guess the middle too, kind of. But it's a guy named James Duval. He was in a bunch of 90s stuff. He's still been in stuff, but like the 90s stuff is the stuff that you would know. So
Well, because he's kind of I don't know, like a Keanu Reeves-esque
Yep.
haircut, especially.
Yeah.
But he's very like, whoa.
What are you doing in the middle of the road, huh?
Is she dead? Tell me. Answer me. She was cans.
He was in a movie called The Doom Generation that I like, but it's basically a Gen X murder road trip. But he was in Independence Day, like we said. He was John the Mod in SLC Punk. He was in Go. He was
Who is
in
he
Gone
in
in
SLC
60
Punk?
Seconds.
That's right, John the
Mod.
Mod. He's one of the guys all dressed up in like the kind of British.
Yeah,
They have their Vespas and
There's
shit.
like the punk kids
I
and the
need to see
mod
this
kids.
again.
Mod is modern, I think, right? Or it was.
I don't know. I mean, I know what mods were. They're like
Yeah.
those. Yeah,
Like the Mod Squad?
Like
Yeah.
during the punk rock thing, yeah, they were like the ones who dressed like little preppy douchebags.
All right.
But he was in Go. He was in Gone in 60
Who
Seconds.
is he in?
Oh, in Gone in 60
He's
Seconds.
He's Kit's friend.
He's the dude that steals the car and gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
He stole it. He had the keys in it. It was a Cadillac full of fucking cocaine.
In Go.
He was Sing. That's the character's name. I haven't seen Go since I was really high in
He's
2002.
friends with the kid that takes too much ecstasy, I believe, and freaks out, and they find him behind a dumpster or a trash
Nope.
can.
Well, it couldn't be that guy.
Friends with him.
Oh, friends with that guy. In high school, or not high school, I guess it was after. I loved Go. I
Go
watched
was
that.
99. So yeah,
I
it'd be at
watched
the end.
that. I swear to God, 1,000 times.
I've watched it, not 1,000. I've watched it quite a bit, though. I can't
love
remember.
the sound. I had the
The
soundtrack.
last time I saw Go, I was really high, and it was 2005.
That might have been my heart's introduction to Timothy Oliphant.
Yes. That's when I fell in love with him.
All of a sudden, it was like, whoa, what are these feelings about a male?
I was
My
like,
God.
lady boner. And you sell ecstasy?
Yeah, somehow I got
want you.
wet. I don't know how. But I
What
got
is that?
wet.
Ooh, moist mama.
That is one wet mommy. It's from the series Fallout. I'm not just saying shit like that on the fly.
If you haven't watched it, fucking watch it.
Oh, everyone listening's watched it. Trust me.
Dude, everybody in the world, I think, has watched this. At least everybody under 44.
Yeah.
I know some people over 44 I've talked to about it. Like,
Well, yeah, but it's
it's
everybody
crazy.
under 44. Well, okay, our demographic, 35 to 44. But during the opening conversation here with the family, there's just some stuff that kind of sets the time, like Maggie Gyllenhaal talking about how she's going to vote for Dukakis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
annoying the
Dukakis
shit
can
out of the
support
dad.
for your can support you while you or what? You
Squeeze
think
a
he'll
kid out.
support your family while you squeeze one out or whatever? And like Donnie, the little girl's like, when can I squeeze one out? And Donnie's
8th
like,
grade.
not until 8th grade.
I mean, rude, dude.
Mom gets really upset about that, but not suck a fuck.
Yeah. She has her fucking limits.
And it's basically just setting up like the family dynamic and that Donnie is on pills that he's no longer taking.
Yeah, because she throws it in your face. Why aren't you taking your pills?
Yeah. And
You're such a fuck ass.
And then the mom is kind of asking him, like, why aren't you taking your pills? Also, did you TP that house? I quit rolling houses in the 6th grade.
I mean, the fact that you still have a name for it, and it lets me believe you probably aren't done rolling houses, sir.
We never called it that.
No, you TP'd a house.
He doesn't roll any houses in this movie.
We call it TPing. That was
Yeah.
it.
Because it's toilet paper.
I don't mean like the Native American TP. I'm talking about the initials TP.
Because it stood for toilet paper.
Yeah, still does.
Tushy pushy.
A tushy pushy?
That's what Derrick calls butt plugs. Hey, babe, you see my tushy pushy? It's the 8mm.
Fuck.
He does call his mom a bitch.
Oh.
This would have been throwing hands in my house,
Oh.
and not
Oh.
mine.
Oh,
I have
Derrick
a
has
tail.
a tat.
Go ahead.
I
Tattle
don't,
that
I don't
tail.
remember what I was doing. You know, I was getting in trouble for something. My mom was yelling at me, and I called her a bitch. And she walked out, and this was to her face, not after she closed the door and walked away, like
Right.
Donnie. She walked out and slammed the door. And I'm sitting in my bedroom, and I'm like it's quiet, a little too quiet, you know. And then all of a sudden, my bedroom door just fucking flies open and smashes into the wall. And it's my dad, and he's like, "What the fuck did you call my wife? Not what did you call your mother? I am no
Yeah.
longer his son in this moment."
Dude,
Yeah.
you lost all lineage in that moment.
I have never been, and my dad is not like, he didn't beat me or anything like that. I have never been so terrified of being thrown through a fucking window in my life.
He had no track record.
Did you
He
piss
has no
yourself?
rap sheet of beating you,
No.
but yet fear
Yeah,
of beating was there.
legitimate fear of death.
Good. That's good parenting, I think. Don't beat your kids, but make them think you might.
Exactly. No, I love his parents. I always say that I won the lottery on in-laws But yeah, I could see how terrifying your father would be in that scenario.
So we're getting to the beginning of the tale here. So it's nighttime. Dad gets up to go watch TV in the middle of the night, and it's a replay of Dukakis and George H.W.
Hey,
Sorry.
Bar, we're back on the podcast. Here we are.
Oh, it's so good to see you, hon.
Those worst people talking about us again. Listen up, mother.
What does he say? I went to Panama and I talked to their leader. I talked to him about not smuggling drugs. And
Hey, they said they weren't going to money launder anymore. I kind of believe them.
I
They're
believe
going to
him.
clean up their money laundering.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that election, but I'm sitting here going, that guy's clearly lying.
Yeah.
And I'm not just looking at it with eyes
I don't
of now.
think he was lying that he met with the drug dealers. I think he was lying about everything else.
But I love the fact that
There's some good people down there, both sides.
I love the fact that Dad's sitting there, like when Dukakis comes up on the screen, he's like, "Son of a bitch," just mumbling to himself.
But like, I miss these times, dude. Even as like recent, I guess, as George Bush Jr., George W. Right? Yeah, Dubs. Even as recent as him, I remember drinking with Bleep and watching like the fucking State of the Union kind of shit and just, being furious at it, or watching debates. And now it's so over stylized and shoved down our throats that I can't be bothered.
Well,
anymore.
now it's like we're watching the
ESPN.
stuff from, what's that movie that predicted the future?
Oh, Idiocracy.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we're watching that. It's like ESPN, like in that stuff. It's overproduced. There's commercials and everything. I'm surprised that the politicians don't have like logos on their suits, like fucking
brought to you by
NASCAR
Mountain
drivers.
Dew.
He's going to Arizona. He's going to Utah. He's going to Colorado. He could go he's the president.
Howard Dean was just a little too early. If he'd been around now in the ESPN days of politics,
Dude,
if he
Howard
goes,
Howard
he's
Dean
president.
was too early. He needs to Donnie Darko his way up here. I don't think it works like that, but either way.
I don't know his politics. I just vaguely remember him, but I'm like, he'd be fine now, just beyond all over.
I just remember
place,
the worst thing he did was get excited.
Yeah, he was happy that he won Iowa or something, and people were like, "Oh well, you can't be happy about this. Get the fuck out of here."
I was so far removed from politics, I literally have no idea what you're talking
Oh,
about.
that was like the last election that I paid attention to, because after that I was like, "Oh, they're all full of shit, and
What
no
was
one
it? It was
cares what I
08?
think."
So is Al Gore he was the
That
like
Invented the internet, yeah.
That was 2004, I think. Though. That was the
Okay.
re-election for George W. I think.
Gotcha.
I
but
think.
he was the one that everybody was like, "You're crazy. There's no such thing as global warming." Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, he did
Inconvenient Truth.
Inconvenient Truth, and he's crazy in his own right. But
He is crazy. He's not wrong, but he is crazy.
there's man bear pigs out there.
He give you two things. He's super serial.
Super cereal, you guys.
And if he was really smart, he would actually sell super cereal. You know what I'm saying, dude? All organic.
fucking eat it.
It's local, like it's fucking sourced from the right materials.
Yeah, it's
fair
produced
trade.
green.
Yeah,
you know.
super cereal. Start your mornings the super way.
Super.
Ooh, super way. It's a good idea for a car driving area. Just go super fast. It's a super way.
It's like a freeway, but super.
Uh,
It's not
We're,
free.
we're going a little bit too into was it Big Gay Al?
Who's that one guy? That one actor, tall, blonde, white hair, glasses.
I believe you're talking about me, Al Gore, but your description is awful.
Yes, exactly. But he's who I picture
was
would
blonde
play
hair
Al Gore.
all.
He would. I don't know if you watched fucking Young Sheldon, but he's in
No.
Young Sheldon. He was known. He's super green. He collects rainwater. He's fucking. What is his name? My phone is over there.
Recyclops.
My phone is over there.
Dude, that's a supervillain from a comic strip that's like only posted on Truth Social.
Well, I can't take credit for Recyclops. That's one of Dwight Schrute's characters in The Office.
okay.
He was
I would
also in
love
a
to.
Roseanne movie, the She Devil or whatever.
Ed Begley?
Yes, I think so.
Ed Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr., sorry.
I think
Pardon.
so.
Apologies all around to all the Begleys everywhere. Both juniors and seniors, I apologize.
Hey guys, after this episode, I really kind of want to go out and get a beer. What are you thinking?
I mean, okay, look, the thing is, I deal with beer so much in my life, I want something else. I'm fine with beer, but I want like a stiff cocktail or a nice glass of whiskey.
You know, the Music Box is just down the way, and you can get an awesome cocktail, or they even have like Tombstone and other great beers on tap.
The Music Box, where would I find that?
Oh, you mean the Music Box at 6951 East 22nd Street in
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona?
right down there at 22nd and Cole.
Yeah, they've got a great selection of whiskey, gin, tequila, mezcal, other spirits.
Ooh, sometimes they have like pudding shots and Jello shots.
You're putting me on.
And depending on the night of the week, we can get karaoke, live music. It's great.
Ooh, on happy hour it's Wednesday. It's on happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm in. You guys are selling me.
Let's go to the Music Box Lounge right
Woo!
now.
Let's go.
Sharks of the Corn? Virus Shark? Cocaine Shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
So it's October 2nd, 1988.
Oh my God. We have so many days to cover.
And we hear the ominous Frank voice. And if you haven't watched this movie, I mean, I'm going to say go watch this before you listen, but I'm going to tell you what happens. So,
Yeah, no. Pause here if you haven't watched it. Go watch it. All right, they're back.
so there's the ominous Frank voice. Wake up, it says. And Donnie wakes up and turns on a light, even though he's sleepwalking.
It's for production, right? It's
I'm
for
pretty
production,
sure, yeah.
because you would just sleepwalk to your. I mean, I know you could do things like this.
You do. You go into like habits, things you do
Yeah.
out
That's
of
what I was
habit.
thinking, because it's the light right next to his bed. It's
Yeah.
not like the light switch. So
I've
like
pulled
he wakes
I've
up
pulled
and-
this every morning, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna do it now.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I masturbate.
Exactly.
I've
You
pulled
pull
this
it.
every morning, so I'm gonna do it now. I'm sleepwanking.
We get to that too.
Sleepwanking. I like it.
I've done it.
I've woken up in my own hand.
I've woken up with his in my hand.
Ever tell you about the term napsturbating? It's when you masturbate
Yes.
so vigorously you fall asleep right after.
Oh, I thought it was when you masturbate so vigorously, songs start downloading on your computer.
You masturbate so hard something gets a virus.
You masturbate so hard, Metallica gets mad at you.
Oh, man, have you ever napsturbated? Oh yeah, Metallica came at me. They sued.
They wanted their nickels, damn it.
It was rough. I paid him in pearls.
Or you hear that kid masturbating again? I can't do James Hetfield, but
I
it
was
sounds
like,
it.
that was
I like it
Eddie
because it
Vedder
sounds
right
dumb,
there.
and so is he. So
So he sees Frank on the golf course, and he finds out there's 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds
11.
And he writes
10.
it on,
until the world ends.
and he writes it on his arm.
Yep. And that's what I think is funny. I mean, I get, it's down to that second that he's telling him, but when Donnie wakes up and sees it, I'm like, well, do you know what time it is now? Do you know what time it was then?
Okay, 10 hours from right now, or however many days. Like I have 28 days from now or from yesterday. I've slept a long time.
I'm thinking this is right after midnight because the TV just went off because they're still playing the
Okay.
national anthem, and then TVs used to turn off in the 80s, guys. Channels stopped broadcasting.
Well, stop there.
Yeah.
TVs used to have antennas.
Yes. Well, well, channels quit broadcasting,
Uh-huh.
and you would hear the national anthem and then just static. And when we get to the end here, and it goes past the midnight mark, it says 6 hours remain. So it's like right after midnight. It doesn't matter. No one cares except me.
After midnight, I'm gonna sleepwalk it out.
Also, that face on that clock is very sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's got such a frowny face.
It really does.
It's not like it's in Beast Castle. It's lived with Donnie Darko. It's seen some shit. The kid sleepwanks.
Although it kind of looks like the clock from Beast Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
little bit.
It's a family member. They got shipped to America.
It's Cogsworth.
So it's Cogsworth. Well, he dropped the worth. It's just Cogs now. He wanted to sound more American. It didn't work.
Hello, I'm Cox.
Hello. What time is it? Oh, that's all they fucking ask me.
I'm American, damn it.
Listen, this is my flawless Kansas City accent, it is. I'm from the plains.
That Brett Goldstein has a clock.
Oi, I'm a fucking clock, mate.
It was little Jason Statham.
Oi, I'm a fucking clock, mate.
There you go.
Before the
Let's just start
Germans get here.
Michael Caine.
Hi, I'm my cocaine. I'm a clock, isn't it?
I love how to do Michael Caine. I do
You
the same
have to-
thing. You have to say
You
Michael
have
Caine
to say
first.
Michael Caine.
I'm
You have to-
Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Got it.
I'm my cocaine clock.
Comma. Clock.
This might be the stupidest way I've spent my time in a while.
I love it.
And I was playing Starfield earlier.
Yeah, it's a great way to spend your stupid time.
One of my friends just asked if you were still playing Starfield. I was like, no, we watched the Fallout series. And then I looked over and I was like, You want to play Fallout?
You're
now,
not
don't
the
you?
only one.
No, I've asked a couple of people. I'm like, hey, did you finish Fallout? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you playing Fallout? Yeah.
Yep.
I want to talk a little bit about Frank. 'Cause we've just been saying Frank, but if anybody is listening and hasn't seen the movie, Frank is, as he's described in the movie, a 6-foot tall bunny rabbit.
Yep.
It's
Terrifying face.
gray, a very gray, like silver furry suit.
Almost dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't inspire holding it.
It's not a cuddly bunny rabbit.
No,
No.
he's a terrifying
And
face.
the face, yeah, it's creepy. The teeth are like, they're not jagged, but they're like kind of,
They're sharp.
they're cockeyed. No, they're flat, but
they're
like,
flat, but
it's
they
got
are
like a
just-
grin, and they're like kind of spaced weird, and they stick out. It's a very terrifying.
It's a
like,
menacing smile.
It's hard to describe well, but I think you're doing a
white
decent
eyes, creepy
No
ears,
pupils.
No pupils.
job. That always makes everything scarier.
Yeah.
It's like a teacher that's bad at his job. No pupils.
No pupils. Yeah.
I get it.
You didn't laugh though. I must not have told it right.
All right,
okay.
hold on, do it
so
again.
pupils are something that's both in the eye, but can also be referred to as students. Your fake laugh is so stupid.
We're getting to that laugh right now.
Yes,
So
we are.
Donnie gets the date, and then we go back to the house. Maggie Gyllenhaal sneaking in because she's been out banging somebody who's very nice enough to wait until they get to the corner to honk.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you like Derrick even said like, "Oh, gotta wake up the neighbors." They's about to get woken up
Everybody's about to
anyway.
get woken up.
Fucking house just is a rattling boom throughout the entire house.
Can you imagine? She's obviously it's an 80s state of mind for her because
Yeah.
it takes place in the 80s. Did we mention that?
88.
Okay.
I think we did.
If we didn't, it's 88. She's coming home from a night out. Most likely some cocaine involved.
Yeah, she's like 19.
And she's like kind of like, leaning against the door, kind of propping herself up. And all of a sudden your house just like breaks and shakes. This is terrifying.
Living
Yeah.
in Virginia, by the way, so no
Yeah.
earthquakes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And yes, you're right, by the way. She's 19. Good guess. Because they don't say.
Well, no, they do. She's taking a year off, and
Yeah,
she's going to
that's
get
it.
into
They don't
Harvard.
say her age. They do say she took a year off from school.
Yeah.
I think
in the
1 year's
script it
enough
I can
says-
partying.
fucking math.
Shut up, Mom. 1 year of partying's not enough.
1 year of partying is enough. Now you're going to go to college where there's definitely not going to be any partying, especially because you're going to go to Harvard.
She's going to Harvard.
No one at Harvard parties.
Harvard.
Rich people don't party. Donnie Darko is woken up on the golf course where he fell asleep or kept sleeping, I guess. Ceased sleepwalking by some doctor.
His buddy's dad.
Yeah. And Patrick Swayze, who is in this movie somehow. I'm assuming Drew Barrymore had something to do with that.
Oh, we never went through all the actors in
Oh,
this
we're
movie.
going to get to him.
Well, yeah, we went through I think quite a bit of them, but
Yeah,
now
the-
we're gonna
the full
go
family
piece
and-
by piece.
We'll meet them.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze playing Jim Cunningham, who's like a Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, yes.
Motivational speaker.
borderline like evangelist with no religion. His religion is selling this
Either fear
way
or
of
love,
living.
bitch.
Yeah, fear, love. There's nothing fucking else.
And I read,
There's
I
also
didn't know
hunger.
this, but I guess he was a former Scientologist, which I don't know how you got out of that.
Oof.
Big guns.
Yeah.
And like,
He died.
I guess these tapes, no,
No,
but
usually
former at
that
this
still
point.
doesn't stop.
I think he was former at this point.
I'm sorry.
know
I
what?
love Patrick Swayze. Rest in pictures, please. I
you know how you- do you know how you-
absolutely
oh, yeah.
love
Oh,
that
for
human
sure.
being.
Patrick
Rest in
Swayze
peace.
is the fucking great.
a real one.
He is a saint.
You know how you would get out of Scientology though, dude? I bet you if you just quit paying him,
Oh, you lose money.
pretty soon, it's like, well, you're not paying us, so you're not a Scientologist
Have I
anymore.
talked about on the podcast before? I was watching a documentary about Scientology that's like an expose kind of thing. And it was
Battlefield Earth?
no. And it was getting down to the nitty gritty of some of the really horrible shit they were doing with people. And then all the power went out. I was watching it. Our power in our apartment went out.
Oh,
The TV
your
went
power
off.
went out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, fuck.
You're expecting red laser sights to come through the windows.
Fucking people bursting through my windows and shit. But if anybody doesn't know who Patrick Swayze is, I mean, he's in some great movies.
Learn
Dirty
up, dummy.
Yeah. I mean, go watch The Outsiders, Red Dawn.
Oh, Outsiders.
Wolverines.
I thought you were going to say Wolverine. I was like, he's not in that.
No.
Ghost, I guess. Roadhouse, for sure.
Road-
I
Roadhouse.
definitely just said Roadhouse.
Start with
goes.
Roadhouse, end with Black Dog, where he's
Oh,
a truck
what is
driver.
truck
Point
driver?
Break.
Yes.
To Wong Fu.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting very excited about
We're about to have a Swayze-a-thon.
And then
Wong
put
Fu
on
is
the
amazing.
skit with him and Chris Farley and Chippendales.
Oh,
my
yes.
God. You mean one of the best things SNL's
Ever.
ever made?
Ever
It's got to
made.
be top 3 skit.
Yeah.
It's it's better than Sweaty Balls.
Yeah, it is.
Even though it's probably contributed to Chris Farley's death.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because he was trying not to do the fat guy comedy, and that's 100% fat guy comedy.
I think this might have been one of the realizations, dude. He said when he watched Beverly Hills Ninja, he cried on his agent's shoulder, and he's like, "I don't want to do this anymore." Like,
Which makes me sad because I remember loving Beverly Hills Ninja.
I tried to watch it recently. I was a little drunk,
Ooh.
and I couldn't finish.
Little Jack's caveat. Oh,
I was a little drunk and I couldn't finish.
Ding.
Story of my life. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager.
Yours was a lot of drunk and you still finished. You just made like a race car driver going the distance.
Going for speed. That's when Patrick Swayze has the line. He's like, "Oh, maybe he was sleep golfing."
Everybody in this movie, like at first I was like, man, everyone in this movie is just fucking sucking Patrick Swayze's
Right?
cock, like stroking his emotional ego. But then I get it because I see him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like the guys just want to be around him. The women all are fucking thirsty for him.
Yeah, that other mom or whatever
Yeah.
that was at the house
Sparkle
later. She's
Motion?
like, I can't believe he's single.
No, talking to Donnie's
Oh,
mom, like,
yeah.
the
when
one
they're-
who farts in a wine glass and sniffs it.
oh yeah, she fucking gets a nice nose to that queff.
And it's funny because as Donnie's getting up to leave, you hear the doctor. He's like, "I hate kids."
Oh, I love that.
Patrick Swayze's like, I don't.
Yeah, we'll get there. So Donnie gets to his house. There's a police barricade because he doesn't know what happened. They're pulling a fucking plane engine out of the top of the house, and the family's very happy to see him because it fell into his room. So they all
The
thought he was
dad's so
dead.
nonchalant. I was like, oh, there's your brother. You know, the
Well,
mom.
I think it's got to be because
Keep the
verse
daughter
is the end of the
calm.
movie. You know, at this point, I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, we've been in like not the family, but the investigators, the firefighters, whoever have been in the house. And they're like, there's no one in that room.
Right.
So-
That makes sense.
Because the jet engine falls through the room into the bottom floor.
Well, he's
There would
also
be-
been
there would be at least
sleepwalking for a
blood.
while now because the mom's even like, "Where did you go?"
Yeah, where do you go at night?
And the very beginning of the movie proves that.
Yeah.
Like he was off taking a barefoot bike ride.
Oh,
is
don't ride
terrifying.
barefoot. Ever. Don't ride in flip flops.
well,
how you get a
you don't know a lot
deep
when you're
gloves.
sleepwalking.
Well,
You know what else
what?
you don't
Here's
do?
what you do. You tape sandals or you tape like house slippers to the pedals. Fucking genius. I'm just going to go do that when I get home.
Well, you know what else you don't do? If you grew up in the 90s and you're wearing baggy pants all the time, don't ride in those either.
Yeah. Well, it
I've-
started in the 80s. You had to fold, like, tuck it and
Yeah, I
fold
definitely
it.
never tucked and folded, and I've definitely had like the frayed edges of my pants get caught in my chain.
Got bit.
Yep.
Talk shit.
Bitch.
Yeah, no, I got in I flipped over my handlebars once riding to school, and I don't know why. Like the sidewalk was clear, and all of a sudden my bike just stopped and flipped, and I'm
Why am I in the air right now?
I'm 100% sure it's because my baggy ass frayed Jinko pants got caught in my fucking
knew
bike
he was
chain.
What
gonna
else
say
happened to you when you
Jinkos.
were riding your bike and wearing a helmet?
Oh, I got hit by a truck once. That was cool.
Doesn't sound cool.
It wasn't. Oh, my head hit the side mirror, and they were like, if you weren't wearing a helmet, you would have been dead. And I was like, that's crazy. And then I quit wearing a helmet.
And quit riding bikes.
My leg was shattered in like 4 places, and they're like, we're gonna take you to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just go home.
I need to go home. My parents are expecting me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home and sleep it off. They're like, yeah, you're not sleeping this off, dude.
You go to sleep and you die.
They have to leave the house, obviously, and they put up in a hotel. And I love when they're like the 3 siblings are in the room, and the littlest sister Samantha is like, "Is there any way we can make money from this? Like, can we get on TV if we sue the airlines?" Oh, and wife, I wanted to tell you, but I forgot because we got distracted. So Samantha Darko,
Shocker.
the little wee lad, she is played by a girl named DeVay Chase. Actually, both of you guys will have things you appreciate here. She hasn't been in a lot. She did some voice acting. She did some other stuff. She's been here and there, probably 30 things in her life. But she was the voice of Chihiro in the American version of Spirited Away,
Okay.
who's the main character.
I've only ever
Sure.
watched it subtitled.
That was for
And-
Jack.
Yeah, and she's the voice of Lilo. Lilo and Stitch.
Shut the front door.
Family.
She's also Samara from the American version of The Ring.
What?
Samara?
What?
Samara.
What?
Samara.
No, it's more about the American version of The Ring.
The Ring. Yeah. No,
She plays
the American
Samara?
version of The Ring. Sorry, people on the internet, is superior to the Japanese one.
Yeah.
It is. The other one was trash.
I watched it. It wasn't trash, but it's not. I
Good.
watched them back to back.
That's going to get somebody's goat.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I watched them back to back, and the American one is much more terrifying.
so she
but
plays
She plays Samara, who's the creepy girl that comes
Yeah, I
out
know.
of the TV.
I know.
Yeah.
I made my my little brother really wanted to watch that once when he was 9.
That's awesome. I kind of thought she looked familiar, but not what I would know her from.
She reprised this character in 2009 in a movie that I am one of 18 people who's seen called S. Darko.
It's her. God.
How do you
and
know?
she actually played Samantha Darko. She played the character again.
How do you know you're one of 18 people that saw
Because
it?
no one saw this movie. No one wanted to see it. It didn't need to be made. But I remember watching it and being like, that was fine, but it's not. It didn't need to be made. She's like a runaway teenager with a friend of hers, and some stuff happens, and something time travel, and there's like a farmer who tells them there's 4 days till the world ends. It's a real knockoff
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It sounds riveting.
But obviously none of this happened in that universe, right? We'll get to there. But so she's like sad. Her family is shattered because her brother died and all that stuff.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, you're listening to a podcast that's telling you what happened.
told you to watch it.
Donnie does threaten to fart in her face while she's sleeping, which is great.
It's just siblings, dude.
I love it. I'm going to tell
Ooh,
Mom.
my mouth is open on that one. That was nasty.
And so the next day we're at the bus stop. Mom is dropping Donnie and Samantha off at the bus stop for school. I was like, this is a small Virginia town. You're driving your kids to the bus stop. How far away is the school?
Here, get out there and hang out with these kids. It'll build character. Get
They're
the fuck
in-
out.
Yeah, go smoke cigarettes and get bullied.
So they live here,
Okay,
and the school is over here,
Everyone can see this.
got
right?
it.
and she works over there.
Okay. So
Good visual aid.
Exactly.
we have our cast of like friends. The only one that really gets a name, I think the two friends get names, Donnie's friends, but I don't care. I looked them
know
both
them.
up, and both of their most known things were Donnie Darko.
They really
so-
exist just to pick on this poor, heavyset Asian girl.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God,
she's
I
the
love
only
her.
one
What do
who's
I know
really
her
got more
from?
work. So the character is Charita Chen. She's played by a woman named Jolene Purdy. Well, a girl at this point, obviously. She was, and I don't know these characters, so I wrote down the names for you. Stephanie Hapakuka in Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. And she was on WandaVision, so she's the neighbor, Beverly.
Oh.
She's one of the neighbors on WandaVision. And she was also in Firefly Lane that you watched. She played a character named
Love-
Justine.
Justine.
Oh.
I love Firefly Lane. If you like Sarah Chalk,
I do.
you should watch you some Firefly Lane.
I will.
It also has, this might kill it for you, Katherine Hagel.
No, that's fine. I don't love her by any means, but I don't think she's going to make me turn anything off,
Okay.
except my libido.
Not
Yeah.
mine.
She's doing
She's
it
got
for you?
great fucking tits, dude.
Yeah, she does it. She's a pretty girl.
You know, ginger. That's the gingerest he'll go.
She's ginger?
No,
Katherine Heigl?
She's blonde as can be.
blonde as shit.
Nope. That's all.
Heigl. Heigl. Blonde hair, blue eyes is what I'm saying to you.
She is a natural. The curtains do not match the drapes.
Well, maybe she went and waxed them.
maybe she just dyed her pubes.
she's a strawberry ginger.
I don't.
It sounds like a shake. I'm gonna order it.
I know. I'm like, how do I make a protein shake joke out of this?
Going to Orange Julius and getting a strawberry
Protein shake
ginger.
is a sex move she does. Got it. That's what she calls jerking dudes off.
And then we have another really cool montage. I like his little like music video montages.
Uh-huh.
I think they're really cool. He does it in Southland Tales also. We get to the school and it's Tears for Fears, Head Over Heels.
Yeah. Something's happening.
And
I'm head
I guess
over
he
heels.
wanted to do this as like a one-shot thing. Like they get out of the school bus. Of course, Donnie and his friends leave through the back because they're assholes. And
I like
Probably
the
set
normal
some
pace
alarm
and
off.
slow pace he's doing. Like,
yeah, and they did that in camera. Like so, while they were shooting it,
Oh.
he had to tell him like, "This is where I want you to ramp up. This is where I want you to slow down," because you have to shoot at a higher frame rate to
Oh,
do
wow.
slow motion. So it's not in post.
It fix it in pre.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love that.
It does a good job of kind of passing the focus off to people we need to meet
Yeah,
without telling us names or anything. You know, it's just like, and here's somebody important.
Yeah.
Now it's on to her. She's important. Back to this guy. He's doing some cocaine in a locker.
Did we ever?
Yeah.
So I don't know who that guy is.
It's not Paul
It's not
Scheer.
Pierce. It's not Pierre.
It's not Paul Scheer.
it's not Piers Morgan either.
But
I
I
don't
am
know what
going
you're gonna say.
to. Paul Scheer, by the way, has a lovely podcast that is How Did This Get Made?
Yeah, he's married to the fucking doctor, the vagina doctor.
June Diane Raphael.
The vagina doctor. I'm the
Which I always read as Raphael until I heard that podcast.
Yeah.
How is it pronounced?
Raphael.
That's how she says it. That's how he says it. But anyway, on that podcast, he has a nickname of it's a combination of stories that people got his name wrong. He goes by Tall John Shear. So that's what I'm going to call this guy is Tall John.
Okay, there we go. The only difference is hair and no gap in the
It
teeth.
looks like Paul Shear with a mullet.
Yes.
It's insane.
If he was a scummy 80s bully.
And the whole time I'm like, it's not him. And like, maybe. But then as soon as you see those teeth, you're like,
no,
okay,
definitely not.
not him.
No.
I'm
And
still not
talking about
convinced.
I'm talking about a fellow brother with a gap.
They put
I
a
was gonna say,
flipper
all
in
of his
that
teeth are
shit.
touching, so.
Hey, we can talk about us. You're not a gappy.
They did the Madonna tooth fix.
What, they gave him a British accent?
But he wanted to do this all as a one shot, and the cinematographer knew it wasn't going to happen. So he was like, you know what? Do me a favor. Get a stopwatch. Let's walk from the bus through the school, and you tell me how long it was. You tell me how long this song is, because this is the song he wanted for this scene, and it's choreographed to the scene.
Yeah.
And they went through, and he's like, yeah, you're right. This can't be a one shot. So it's cut up, but it's done very well. There's a
is.
lot of long one shot. Dolly
Well, that
work in
explains
this.
why the music is so good in this, because he needs it to be. He
Yeah.
cares a lot. He's very specific.
And it shows.
And I mean,
Yeah.
so the NXS song, from what I heard, is what he wanted, but he couldn't get. They couldn't afford it, so he ended up with the other song.
Mm-hmm.
This
wasn't
song
there
he wanted,
something-
and then for the Sparkle Motion dance, it was supposed to be Pet Shop Boys' East End Girl or West End Girl, West End Girl,
And girl.
and they couldn't get that because of, I think it was Tears for Fears. I'll talk about that when we get there, but. So they had to recut that one, but everything he does to these. He has one in Southland Tales also with the Killers song, and they shot the whole thing without the permission of the Killers, like without knowing they could get the song. And then they just sent the Killers the video thing they had shot, and they were like, "Can we please use your song?" And they watched it, and they were like, "Yeah, all right."
All right.
I like what you did there.
That's cool.
And so some of the characters we kind of meet here. One of them is Kitty Farmer, who's played by Beth Grant, who's been on the show before. She was in The Wizard.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
She's in Speed. She's in A Time to Kill. She's in The Rookie.
A couple episodes of The Office.
She shows up in Southland Tales. She's in a small part in No Country for Old Men.
This woman's in a lot of things,
yeah,
and
she's
every
a
time
character
Derrick
actress.
sees her,
Yeah.
he's like, Sparkle Motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all makes sense now.
It does.
Like, when we were watching The Wizard, I was trying to figure out who. I was like, why do I know her? And then once I realized it, I was just like, Sparkle Motion.
And we all went, what?
No idea what you're talking about, buddy.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's in another movie called Lucky. That's one of the only starring roles that Harry Dean Stanton ever had.
Oh.
It was right before he died, too.
I was going to say, this sounds like you've talked to me about this before.
I told you about it. It's
So,
a great
yeah.
fucking movie. It came out
All right.
like a month after he died, but he did get to see it before he died.
I'll put that on my long list of movies I need to watch but won't. Eventually I will.
He'll make you. We have a
I'll
podcast.
watch movies when I'm dead.
That's a really good movie, though.
We have a Patreon.
Yeah, that's fair. We can make fun of sad old people, right?
Oh, I always do.
That's what that movie's
I
about.
throw rocks at them.
Oh.
Why should they have love?
So
They're sad and old. They don't have love anymore.
Good.
one of the other people we meet during this montage, friends with Tall John, is Seth Rogen.
We got us some Seth Rogens here.
His feature film debut. And he gets his first line in his first feature film debut is, "I like your boobs."
They're creeping on this girl like, sup, yeah, you're kind of hot. I like your boobs.
So did he get
Fucking cretins.
he did Freaks and Geeks after this?
I think it was like at the same time. Freaks
Okay.
and Geeks was 2000.
It's about the same time because he also did Undeclared,
Yeah, he was on Undeclared. So
which is after just a little bit after that.
He had done some TV, but this was his feature film debut. We also see Noah Wiley, who was on ER for 577 episodes or something.
That's about all I know him from. Some sci-fi series called Librarian.
Yeah, yes,
He was in
it's
Fallen
about time
Sky.
travel.
Don't look at me like that's a must fucking watch. It's a sci-fi.
My mother and I watched it.
Sure, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, but the face you gave me was like, how fucking fucking dare you didn't watch we're talking about TNT
Yes.
or Sci-Fi, The
100%.
Librarian, featuring America's Noah Wiley. Like, you're putting that shit up on a pedestal,
1000%.
man. It's not Righteous Gemstones.
Dude,
It's not Fallout.
I had a big crush on Noah Wiley.
I got a big crush on Walton Goggins.
I know you do. You
doesn't?
have a life-size cutout of Walton Goggins.
Right now, I'm changing him seasonally.
Yeah, so what
right
is he
now
wearing
he's got
now?
a lay.
Oh, did you finally lay him?
I laid him.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes up next. Ooh, sombrero.
Noah Wiley was also in Falling Skies,
Yes.
which I mostly enjoyed. We watched it all.
Yeah, we did.
The last season's the only bad season. That
Yeah.
it's a
I
really good
fucking-
show up until the last probably like 4 episodes.
It's one of those things that a lot of like really cool science fiction shows run into, where it's got a great premise and it starts out and you're like really engaged, but then they're like, we have to end this.
yeah.
Like,
Ramp
How are
it
we gonna
up.
do it? How are we gonna end
we have to
this?
end it in a way that won't piss off everybody watching, and we also have to end it in a way that the studio will say okay to.
Yeah.
Which is a hard balance.
Well, they didn't find it.
And we see Drew Barrymore, who's playing
Meow.
Mrs. Pomeroy or Ms. Pomeroy. She doesn't go by Miss, I guarantee you. Not this teacher. She goes by Ms.
Oh yeah. You better put a Z on that.
And I mean, obviously, Drew Barrymore, everybody knows, right? E.T.,
Everybody loves.
Firestarter, Poison
Never
Ivy.
been kissed.
Yeah, I know,
Charles,
we'll get to those.
Charlie's Angels.
Scream.
We talked about Timothy Oliphant earlier.
My
Her
Wet Dreams.
work in Santa Clarita Diet is phenomenal.
I just recently rewatched. Well, I say I rewatched it. What, 2 years ago?
I can't do it because I know it got canceled. I'm done.
I know, and I was
My heart's
pissed
broken.
off at
My
the
heart's
end.
Yeah. I don't want to have it all broken again.
Yeah, that's my job. Breaking people's hearts.
Yeah.
You break my heart every
Donnie
day.
Darko to be happy. And she did, so she was a producer, as I mentioned. All of her stuff in this movie, they only had her for 1 week.
Okay.
So, and I mean, she's in a significant portion of the movie, but it's
She
all,
really
it's pretty
is.
much all at the school, right?
Yeah.
But she's the cool teacher, right?
Yeah.
She's the only good teacher. Thank you.
She's teaching them some shit, maybe some I mean, you can't really ban books ever.
I hate that.
But I'd say like teaching them progressive stuff, showing them some risque material without being inappropriate.
It was not inappropriate.
I'll tell you what, though, if she was my teacher, I wouldn't get no work done. I didn't get work done anyway, and I didn't have this as a teacher.
So we see Sparkle Motion doing their dancing, all that stuff. Drew Barrymore, we go to class. She's teaching a Graham Greene book called The Destructors, which involves some kids breaking into a person's house, trashing it, flooding it, and burning it down.
How long
I
is
wonder
the
if that'll
story?
come back.
13 pages.
Yeah, if you had bothered to do the reading, it would have kept you up all night, she says to Dumb Girl.
Jenny.
And then Gretchen Ross comes into class, played by Jenna Malone, who
Yes.
was in... so she did there's another connection with Miyazaki movie. She did the voice of Letty in Howl's Moving Castle, the American...
Oh, I have watched
voice
that
acting
one
version.
in English.
Isn't
'cause it's
she-
got Billy Crystal's Calcifer.
Is she in Saved?
Yes, she is the pregnant girl from Saved, the main character.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome movie. She's in Sucker Punch, Inherent Vice. She does a lot of
butt stuff.
Zack Snyder stuff because she was in Sucker Punch. She
So I
was in
said butt stuff.
Batman vs. Superman. She's in Rebel Moon, apparently. She's in that new movie, Love Lies Bleeding, that I didn't get to see in theaters because Tucson doesn't have culture and it was only in the theater for like a week.
Fucking
But
swine.
she's good. I like her.
I remember having the biggest crush on this girl. And as Jack said, very age
An
appropriate.
age-appropriate one, yeah. Let's get that clear. That Whitney's not watching this now, going, "Damn!" But when you were watching it at the time,
Well, not this particular movie, but things that she was in.
Sure.
She walks into class. She's like, I think I'm in the wrong class. She's like, nah, you belong here.
You look like you belong here.
Sit next to the boy that you think is the cutest. And I'm like, this is some not teacherly behavior. This is going to get you fired if it's
But
not
80
I'm for
1988.
it.
88, it's fine.
Yeah. And she's eyeballing Donnie. And so Drew Barrymore tells the girl, Jenny, she's like, hey, get the fuck out of the
Go
way.
kick rocks, dude.
There's a scene of Donnie and his dad driving around. And he's like, they're talking about what happened and with the plane engine and how they don't know where it came from. And there's something about a serial number scratched off, which doesn't make any sense because if an engine came off a plane, you don't need a serial
It
number.
said it was burned off.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, You
But there
don't
was
need
no
a serial number. Exactly. That's the thing. It's weird. But he's like, but nobody knows what's going on. But we're not. I signed an NDA, so I'm not supposed to talk about it. And Donnie's got a line. He's like, so we're not supposed to tell anybody what nobody knows.
Exactly.
And then you see more camaraderie between the two, the father and the son.
And then you meet Grandma Death.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Dad almost runs down Grandma Death, Roberta Sparrow. I didn't get the actress's name, but I did see that it was her last feature film role. Not a surprise.
Her
This lady is
wig,
very
her
old.
wig looks like if Doc Emmett Brown was the Goblin King.
Yes.
Great
And
Scott
she is obsessed
Monty.
with time travel. She wrote a book about it.
Maybe she was.
I saw Donnie. Time travel as far as Donnie could travel. What could I do?
I love it.
What could I do?
What could I do? Donnie!
And she whispers something to Donnie, and the dad's like, hey, what'd she say? And we cut to Donnie in therapy with Dr. Lillian Thurman, played by Catherine Ross, who didn't do much acting at this point anymore, but she was
She was in The Graduate.
Elaine from The Graduate. She's
Nice.
Elaine Robinson, the daughter, the one that Dustin Hoffman is getting with before he starts banging her mom.
Yeah. And you can tell it's
Perfectly
her.
normal.
And she aged very gracefully. She looked pretty amazing in
Oh, yeah,
this.
no shitty surgeries. In
I
them.
guess there was
No.
a thing Richard Kelly said where they were talking to her about the role, and they're like trying to tell her, they're telling her all this stuff to convince her to do it, and she's like, hold on, you guys aren't making me audition for the role. I'm not here to ask you. You're here to ask me. And they're like, yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, okay, well then yeah, I'm gonna do it. She thought she was there to ask them for the role.
That's awesome.
You want me to be in the movie? I'm in the movie.
And she has these amazing eyes. There's something with the shape of her eyes that are
Uh-huh.
they're not overtly big like he doesn't like the eyes of that one lady.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, those creep her out.
Well, those are
creep him
trying to
out.
get away from each other. Like, that's a very weird... those eyes are escaping each other quickly.
But
The
her
messed up
eyes
thing
are
is
still,
she's a pretty girl, but
Yeah, she
her
is.
eyes are
she's
just
stunning.
getting somewhere else.
The way that she talks, I feel like she's had dental work.
Probably.
I'm just jealous.
She's English, isn't she?
No way of knowing.
There's no way of finding out. The internet doesn't know.
Well, the internet lies all the time, so I don't believe anything. From
Also,
there.
this episode is coming out in May, and so is Furiosa, and she's playing
Yeah, she
Furiosa,
is.
and I'm excited.
I'm not.
So that's the
Anything
looks
Charlize
like shit.
Theron's
I will
younger.
watch anything George Miller makes.
It looks like shit.
You look like shit.
Usually.
So she's playing Charlize Theron's younger part,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Sure.
prequel. And I mean, the trailer does look like there's a little more CG than there was in Fury Road, which was like none.
It looks like shit.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't look like shit.
Doesn't look like
Hey,
not
I
shit.
believe it's Chit.
It looks like chit.
So then he's talking to her about Frank and how Frank told him to follow him into the future. And she's like, okay, you're not crazy. That's cool. So we go to school, and apparently Beth Grant is playing their gym teacher.
Yeah.
But she's
What
showing
the
them these
fuck?
Cunning Visions video from John Cunningham or Jim Cunningham, which is Patrick Swayze. And it's his like motivational thing about like everything is divided into fear and love. And fear is negative, and love is positive.
I used to
and-
wet the bed, but I'm not afraid anymore.
Not afraid anymore.
This
little
is the-
stupid kid.
And apparently this kid goes to this school.
Yeah, because that's the same kid, and I don't think you're supposed to notice that.
I wondered if it is or if it just looks like him.
No, it's the same
It
fucking
look-
kid.
I'm pretty sure
He
it
would
is.
be relentlessly tortured. Well, he is getting.
He is,
Yeah, okay.
exactly.
He wants to learn how to fight. So.
Yeah, because he wets the bed until he's 10 and he's not afraid anymore.
And he's only 9.
I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm not afraid.
Um,
I walk with a limp, but I'm not afraid.
the Cunning Visions videos were the first thing they shot, and they shot it at Patrick Swayze's ranch. And his wife got out his 80s clothes for him to wear in the video, so it's his own clothes for the wardrobe.
Oh, it's awesome.
But it's great because like Richard Kelly said, he's a big advocate of like shooting stuff and showing the cast and the crew so that they can see what's happening. So that's the first thing they shot, and they all got together and had a little like party to start out the thing, and he showed them the videos for this, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. So then they're like, okay, cool, this is coming together, and this 23-year-old kid actually has some idea of what he's doing.
yeah.
So it's kind
That's
of
pretty
cool.
dope. Ugh, I hope
23
it
when he
gets-
made this?
I think that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight out of college, right?
It's good shit, dude.
I'm not afraid anymore. Sorry.
I still pee the bed, but I'm not afraid.
And then we get the sequel to Sleepwalking, Sleepwalking 2, the axe.
Uh-huh.
Donnie wakes up in the middle of the night and leaves his house with an axe goes to the school and smashes up the water main.
Wait, I didn't know where he was going.
We don't know at the time. We just see him smashing a pipe.
Yeah, because at the moment I was like, why did you do that to your own house?
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, who did you just murder?
And it's October 6th now, and they're all hanging out at the bus stop, and these fucking friends of Donnie's are such dickheads.
Yeah.
The little girl, Charita, is talking about something, and like, oh, Donnie's telling her, just go home. And one of his friends is like, because she tells him, shut up, which is her thing. And Johnny's friend says, hey, Porky Pig, go get molested. And I'm like, God, dude, fuck
Yeah,
you.
they're
Murder
yelling
you.
some awful shit, dude. Go back to China. It's like, I know it's 88, but how could you be friends with these people?
I think it's just
you
like-
can make new friends, or you don't need them, Donnie.
Well, we do get into Donnie's fears of being alone later in the movie. So I think it's just like, well, these are the kids that I can be friends with because I'm a weirdo outcast and I'm not hanging out with Cokehead and Seth Rogen.
And we learn that his friend's dad is friends with Donnie's dad
Yeah.
because they're all at the house watching a game.
Yeah.
Fucking Redskins!
And he also says, like, my dad said he saw you at the golf course. Are you sleepwalking again, buddy?
I was sleep golfing.
And they find out the school's closed because it's flooded. And one of the friends is like, that's the best news I've ever fucking heard.
It's 7:45 and the bus isn't here. There's a rule. If it's not here by 7:45, we get to go home. That's not a rule.
And so, yeah, the school is flooded because that was the water main for the school. There's an axe in the mongrel's head, which is their school mascot. And it's like a solid bronze statue. So
Whew.
good on you, Donnie.
Yeah, doing them push-ups. It's written as like the Joker too. It's they made me do it.
Yeah, in this fucked up handwriting, which comes around through the movie.
Probably just his left hand.
And it's all these kids spreading rumors about what happened at the school, and one is the girls talking to each other, and she's like, the boys' locker room was filled with feces.
What are feces?
Baby mice.
Aww. And one is like, what?
Not what they are, and you should know that by now.
God, I
You are
knew what
plenty
feces...
old enough to know.
I knew what feces was when I was 5. My mom used to say, instead of the shit hits a fan, she says, the feces hit the the rotating oscillator.
I mean, dude, at this point, I was learning all kinds of nicknames for poo. I was like, scat? What is scat? I'm going to figure out how to say poop in so many different ways.
I mean, I think,
Caca.
is this girl the one that's Beth Grant's daughter? Because
Yes.
she'd be the sheltered one that doesn't know what feces
that
is.
fucking
Yeah.
tracks so hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And it is.
You mean, because God is awesome.
That tracks like a fucking
I
junkie's
am
arm.
getting you that shirt. I am going to make you wear this shirt that just says
Just put
God.
it. Just
really
put the G lowercase.
Oh, just the G.
God's is awesome.
So like lowercase g, big O, big D, and then
All right,
awesome
we
in
could
script.
sell this on the store if people want it. I like God's is awesome.
Oh,
a
put
little
an S at the end of it?
polytheism, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I'm taking that.
But the bully kids are now picking on Jenna. Donnie kind of rescues her, so she's like, hey, can you walk me home? And they have this great conversation where, like, when did you move to town? What happened? Whatever. And she's talking about, like, her parents splitting up, and she's like, yeah, my dad has emotional problems. And Donnie is so excited.
Oh my God, me too. Oh,
I have
so
emotional
fucking
problems. What kind does he have?
What's he taking? Uppers, downers, poppers, zingers, blues, yellows, jimmies?
Well, he did stab my mom 4 times in the chest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, this just got awkward.
I masturbate
You just
at
made this
night.
boner real weird.
I sleep golf. Is that weird? I don't stab people, but
Yet.
yet.
They decide to go together. He's like, you want to go with me? She's like, go where?
No, that's
wanna
just
go
what we call it
study?
here.
And I do
That's
like
what they call it there in like 1950s.
one of my favorite scenes with the therapist is the next one when he gets hypnotized.
And this is where he's doing a piece of work.
Yeah.
You know, while he's in this trance, he's got like almost kid voice.
Yes.
You know, it's just, I don't know. I think about fucking. I think about fucking a lot.
Yeah, because she asks him, like, is there anything new going on? He's like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. It's like, okay, what's going on at school? And he's like,
Think about
he says, I
fucking my
think about
girlfriend.
fucking. And she's like, what's going on at school? And he's like, I think about fucking. No, I asked you about school. I think about fucking at school.
And married with children.
You think about your family? No, I don't want to fuck my family.
I love his delivery there. I want to fuck my family. It's weird.
Weird. I turn the volume off and I think about fucking
Christina
Applegate. Well, who didn't?
And then he's unbuttoning his pants and sticking his hand down there. And
I just think this therapist's like, let's see what he's working with, and wake him up.
Yes.
We've gone too far. I didn't see where it ended, but I saw where it starts.
Yes.
He wakes up and his hands in his pants, and he's like,
What
are we doing
fuck
here?
is going like literally where would your mind be if you woke up and there is a woman standing above you and your hand is in your pants?
Again.
Oh, no.
Ah.
Well, at least my sister's not here this time.
Well,
No.
them Jack boys are at it again.
Check it. So they're doing like a thing at the school, which is so stupid. They have all the kids in the classes like going up and writing on the board. They made me do it to compare handwriting. I'm like,
You're not going to write the
exactly.
same.
Nobody writes this way. But maybe they were also, because Drew Barrymore's clocking it like, oh, look who's looking nervous.
Yeah, well, they all do. Drew Barrymore is looking at Donnie. When he goes up and writes and walks away real quick, the principal puts a big question mark next to his name.
But even before he goes up and writes, dude, he is sweating.
Yeah. And even Jenna's looking at him like, oh, man, my boyfriend flooded the school, didn't he?
He done did it. He's real weird. I didn't know how weird you are when I signed on to go with you. Can we not go together anymore? I think we should see different people. You continue to see this imaginary rabbit, and I will continue to see not you.
And then we have like all the friends hanging out in like not the desert.
The
was-
desert of Virginia.
It was an old burn site.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. They're shooting.
She's talking about California.
They're shooting glass bottles and they're having a discussion about the Smurfs.
Dude, we
Which-
need some Smurfette to hang out with us. So what this guy's implying is we need a chick that wants to hang out and just bang all three of us.
Yeah,
we
a
don't
chick
have to
that'll just fuck the
try.
group.
Didn't you
We
have
don't
that
have to-
conversation with your friends?
No, we were normal kids. We swapped porn videos.
Oh, all the rap songs were talking about it.
Do I look like a rapper?
Yes.
No. I
Yeah.
look like a Christmas rapper.
What's that song? It ain't no fun unless my homies can have some.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, to me.
But those aren't words to live by.
To me, I always thought that meant like you better bring some bitches for my boys.
Velvet DeVoe had the song "Me and the Crew used to do."
But I do
Oh,
like.
and the Spice Girls.
you gotta
if you
get
want
with
to
my
be
friends.
my lover, you gotta get with my.
But
friends.
I do like this part a lot because the guy's like, yeah, we need a Smurfette. It's an orgy. She fucks all the Smurfs, and here comes
Gyllenhaal
fucking
with-
Donnie
Donnie
just
Darko.
goes off on like this philosophical rant.
First of
I
all,
love
Papa
it.
Smurf didn't create her. Gargamel did as a spy, but when she got there, the Smurf ways took her over.
And then
They're
he's
also
like,
asexual.
yeah.
An orgy's out of the question.
yeah,
They don't have any private parts in those
they
white
don't
pants.
have reproductive parts. Yeah, and he's like, and that's just what's so crazy about being a Smurf. Like, what's the point of living if you don't have a dick? Like, it's this long philosophical rant that ends with, what's the point of living if you don't have a dick?
Women everywhere are like, oh.
It's one of those things that shows you, it's like, Donnie's smart and he's got thoughts about stuff,
But he's also-
disconnected.
Okay.
He's also a horn dog.
You know that's actually true. The higher in intelligence you are, the higher your IQ is, the higher your loss of common sense and crazy tendencies, like
I
schizophrenics.
do know that's true.
I know because you're one, my sister's one. Like
I think that's just called being on the spectrum.
Yeah,
It's-
also that.
no, it's
I also know about that. So then there's a PTA meeting, and I love this scene. Some of the music in this movie is
Makes
just
the
like
scene.
it pushes the anxiety of these scenes to another level. Because there's this one, and then the PTA meeting, and then later on the assembly. The music just pushes like the anxiety of what's happening in the scene
There's
to
also
another level.
a lot of these just like weird noises to also help induce anxiety and feelings of uncomfortableness that are just out of nowhere. It's hard to like do the sound, but these little ones just pop up where I'm like, oh man, that definitely made you feel extra how they wanted you to feel.
Yeah, and a lot of it's very subtle, but like you're watching the movie and you just get like antsy, and you
It's-
should be.
The new sound that everybody's doing is like that boo bass drop. It's not that, but there are things in here that are very and remind me of that.
Yeah. And like, so it's supposed to be a PTA meeting about the water main thing.
yes.
But immediately Beth Grant hijacks it to go on a tirade about this book that Drew Barrymore is teaching, The Destructors, and how it's pornography and their kids are being corrupted.
Oh, and just to
How
give you
is
an idea,
it pornography, by the way?
I think that's just her way of
pornography
saying...
is hard to define, but you know when you see it.
Exactly. That's her way of saying it's inappropriate for our children.
Yeah.
Go
She
fuck
wants to
yourself.
throw the word pornography out so the other parents who are kind of on her side will be like, well, that's disgusting.
She used the P word.
Yep.
But just to let you know what kind of Karen she is, though, the principal's like, dude, hey, it's a PTA meeting. We're here to talk about something else. And she's like, I'm a parent and I'm a teacher. I transcend that bridge.
I'm the only one.
I'm the only one. You need me.
Yeah. I fucking hate her so much in this
Yeah,
movie,
you're
which
supposed
means she
to.
does a great job.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
supposed to.
And like she goes off on the whole thing about the book, and even Donnie Darko's mom says, she's like, I don't think the PTA is in the business of banning books. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, that's when she says it's pornography. And Drew Barrymore tries to defend it, and her comeback is, you need to go back to grad school.
And then the mom even says, like, do you even know who Graham Greene
Yeah, do you know
is?
who Graham Greene is? I've seen Bonanza.
No, everybody has seen
And
Bonanza.
There's an actor on Bonanza. I think his name is Lorne Green. So
Yeah.
that's what she's kind of like. I don't know, green.
I know what I'm talking about. I
And
teach gym.
Intercut with this is Donnie hanging out in the bathroom taking his pills, and Frank comes to talk to him, and they have this scene with this like kind of barrier between them where he reaches out to touch Frank and he touches this barrier, and then Frank does it too, and you can see everything warbling. And for it being 2001, I mean, the little bit of CG that's in this is pretty fucking good.
I didn't have any moments of ick. You
Yeah.
know, like, oh, God, that looks rough.
And I mean, and a lot of it is liquid based
yeah,
stuff.
the Abyss
so,
already did it.
Yeah.
Well, funny you say
And it was
that.
definitely the time spears, which is kind of how they're referred
Uh-huh.
to, the water dicks. Are,
Water Dick's how I like to refer to them.
I mean, Richard Kelly 100% is like said he was inspired by the Abyss.
Perfect. Yeah, makes
so-
sense. It's already done. Like, you don't need to. The imagery of these water dicks is not the focus of his story.
No,
So, like, get it done, make it look good, but let's move on.
exactly.
And this is when Frank is talking to Donnie about like, do you believe in time travel and all this stuff? And this that scene we were talking about earlier where he's got the face down and it's very dark and shadow heavy.
Yeah. I can do whatever
I can do
want.
anything.
I can do anything. You can do better. I can do
anything.
Anything better than I'm Donnie Darko. It's Frank here.
Did George Lucas just walk in?
No, that's
Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville.
Hey, is it Frank you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in my thighs.
I can see it in my thighs.
more good acting from him too. You know, he just drops that face down, becomes a different person
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah, and we have another scene then of the Cunning Visions video. And so the last one, Frank had said in Donnie's head, like, pay attention, you might miss something. And when they're watching this one, Jim Cunningham definitely slaps a kid on the ass.
Yeah, and
100%.
then, you know, if you don't know the thing, then it seems like a very
I did say have a seat right here.
yeah, no, of course you did, but I'm saying like it's just
It does come
at
across
the
as a
time,
sporty-
88. I mean, sportsy, like dude, guys are still slapping guys' asses, and this is like a way to go, son. Psh.
Yeah, and I mean,
Turns out it's not.
for those who don't know what we're talking about, we'll get there, but Patrick Swayze's character is also like the kingpin of a kiddie porn ring.
Yeah.
Motherfucker has a child porn dungeon.
I want to know, okay, so Patrick Swayze did this movie, I'm assuming for not a lot of money, considering the budget, right?
Right.
And he knew what this character was, because this isn't like added to the script.
Uh-huh.
So who else could have been who else would have volunteered to be at his level of fame to be in this indie
I'm glad
movie?
he said this level of fame, because I was going to say Clint Howard, but then we would have seen it coming.
Yeah.
But like at this level of being
No, this
famous,
clean cut,
Yeah,
wholesome
you have an
person.
image.
I mean, he has murdered people in movies. I mean,
nobody
Roadhouse,
puts
he
baby
ripped
in the
that guy's throat out. But like,
He had
Nobody
to.
puts baby in the corner.
yeah,
She was
Somebody
only
should have
16,
put baby in the corner.
right? She was only 16,
She's
right?
going with a fully grown man.
she's 16, going on 17.
I am 17, going on 24. Sorry, Dean Martin's had a few drinks here. Bibbidi boobidi. 2, 3,
But-
4.
Who else would have played this? I mean, you get
I mean, almost nobody.
Gary Busey.
Oh, hey, there's either love or fear. That's it. That's all there is. And motorcycles and honey. And that's
Ooh,
it. Motorcycles,
about-
fear, honey,
what
and
about-
drugs. I like them. I
What ab-
love them. I want some more of them. You're going to have to talk over me because I can't stop. I feel like if I stop, the world stops turning. And I don't want to stop turning. Ooh, it was always burning since the world was turning. What were you saying?
I didn't fuck with you guys at the beginning of this. What about Lieutenant Dan?
Gary Sinise.
Gary
Yeah.
Sinise.
Yeah, I like that.
He
That-
could do it because he doesn't, but he has a vibe of like he seems like we did Quick and the Dead. He seems like a clean cut guy, but generally speaking, I mean, I guess I'm thinking of Lieutenant Dan. He seems like skeezier.
I think
little
you
bit.
suspect this guy when he's on screen.
Oh,
Maybe it's not
Tom
him.
Hanks.
Tom Hanks would never do it though.
Not at this point. This is post Forrest Gump.
I play
Tom
a
Hanks-
pedophile. He would have no part of it. I'll put my snake in his boots. But no, to your point though, it's gonna be tough to cast this as somebody that is as known. Like I don't know, at the time, Hugh Jackman's a nobody, but he.
Yeah, you needed a pretty face.
You said
Yeah,
it was a
because-
darling script around Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I bet you he got wind of that and was like, I'll do anything in this movie.
Yeah, and Drew Barrymore's involvement is what got him in there because, she was big. She's a legacy. She's nepotism embodied. Steven
Murphy.
Seagal.
We all saw that coming. Murphy.
Bill Murphy.
Murray.
Bill Murray.
Murray.
Bill
Fuck
Murray.
me.
But Bill Murray, this needs to be a gorgeous looking dude. And I'm not
Oh.
sit here to talk shit
I
about
mean-
Bill Murray.
Ooh, I got a hold of that one.
But no, Patrick Swayze is a real one, dude. He got a wind of the script and was like, I'll do it. I want to act. I'm not
I love
just
that.
whatever you think I am.
And
I
I mean,
can do all this.
He pretty much disappears from the movie once that's all revealed.
Well, no,
Yeah.
there's,
Other than his one scene at the
which
end.
I think is why he did it. I'm not gonna say the scene, but because of that scene,
Yeah.
It's the painting of him as the Goblin King, isn't it?
yes.
I'll do this if I can keep that.
There is this stupid like fear and love exercise she has them do where she's got fear and then like a line and love written on the
I love
board.
this scene.
And it's the lifeline or whatever.
This doesn't make sense.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
No, he's
'Cause-
calling her out too. Like, this doesn't make sense. He's
Yeah.
like, just put the X where you think. He's like, no. I know how to fucking do the exercise. What I'm saying is you can't just say it's love or fear. There's all kinds of other stuff. There's hungry, there's horny, there's thirsty, there's sober, all the emotions.
Yeah, because he
I
has.
think those are emotions.
I feel a couple of them right now.
Can I get you? You got whiskey in front of you.
He's got a rant to her about like there's other things to take into account, like I don't know, the entire spectrum of human emotion. Like because it's this thing of like these morality exercises, like so and so found a wallet, and I actually really appreciate the production design here of like. This is that like late 80s thing where they're like, look, we're being inclusive. It's like because it's Ling Ling and Juanita and like ethnic names.
Yep.
But these drawings are all definitely just white kids.
Yeah.
So it's
we
like,
added the names.
yeah, it's that in between like 80s version of
And
inclusive.
also, why is it Ling Ling that finds the wallet, keeps the money, and returns the wallet?
Yeah, you know what? Ling Ling returned the wallet. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
I-
It goes in the middle.
And that's the one Donnie
Chaotic
gets.
neutral.
That's when he's like, this can't be. This isn't fear. This isn't love. This doesn't make any fucking sense. And I love it
But
because
she's drinking that fucking Kool-Aid, man.
Oh, because she's like in almost tears at this
she's
point.
holding either a book of his or the tape of his,
it's
all the
it's
time.
his book. Yeah, she's cuddling it like a fucking support animal
If
thing.
she
Like,
believed in masturbation, she would be doing it to this book.
yeah.
But she just accidentally runs into the washing machine a couple times a night.
No,
she
just
says
sits on it.
something like what do you want me to do or something, and he turns around and he's like hard cut to the principal's office with the parents there. and
Great direction.
huge laugh. You know what I mean? It's like
He told me.
and the principal's very calmly trying to explain to the parents.
Oh, I love it. The parents are angry, and he's just smiling on the back seat.
It's like, what exactly did you say to Miss
Whatever.
Miss Grant or Beth
Sparkle
Grant?
Motion.
Sparkle Motion.
What exactly did you say to Miss Sparkle Motion? And she just burst in all of a sudden. She's
I'll
like,
tell you what
he
he
said.
said."
He told me to forcibly insert the lifeline exercise into my anus.
Dude, the dad's like,
Dude, and that's my dad.
That's you.
Yeah. But that's my
Yeah.
dad. Like there are times when me or my brother got in trouble and my dad like was in the office and he's just like like trying his hardest not
he
to laugh.
said, what?
It's funny because there's a thing later in the movie, and we'll just talk about it right now because it ties to with this, where they're at dinner, the parents, and suddenly the mom just goes, I think that telling any woman to insert anything forcibly into her anus shouldn't go unpunished.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, I think we should buy him a moped.
I think we should get divorced.
And it's a long look, and then they both just crack a smile. It's a fun. He's great. She's not bad at all. I'm not talking shit
It's
about
me
her,
and
but
Derrick's
he is really
relationship.
captivating me as a human.
I really love him. I wish he did more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I agree.
America should know him more.
So Donnie goes to Noah Wiley, and you just walk up to your science teacher, and you're like, hey, teach.
So about time travel.
Can we talk about time travel?
Just can I bend your
Okay.
ear real quick about wormholes and Rosenthal's bridge?
So my theory on this is Frank keeps telling him things, right? Learn about time travel, do this, and then something appears, like something's happening, and it's happening right there. I'm saying this way wrong. So
Something happens, so it happens.
so Frank knows that book is in the science teacher's bag.
Yeah, because he asks about it, and Noah Wiley just coincidentally has this book in his messenger bag, The Philosophy of Time Travel, written by Roberta Sparrow, who is Grandma Death. And it's like, you just carry this book around. This is my toilet reading.
This is this is a walking around book. I love the cut too, because he's like, "Don't tell anybody I gave you this." And then cut to the dinner table. He's like, hands it to his dad. He's like, "Yeah, Teach gave me this, dude. It's fucking called The Philosophy of Time Travel."
Yeah.
You just told everybody you know. Good thing you
not
only
the
know your
school.
family. You
Yeah,
nerd.
and I think that's what it is. It's
Sure.
like the school. That school is fucking repressed.
It
This is
makes
a Quaker
sense
school.
too. Yeah, even the principal says like, "We're pretty progressive, but we don't teach that." Like,
And
no.
their name is Middlesex? What
That's the name of the town.
fuck is that?
Richard Kelly grew up in a town called like Middleborough or something like that. So that was originally going to be the name, and they went with Middlesex.
They went with Middlesex.
It's probably a lot more innocent than we think. Like
That's
it's
because all the stuff on the East Coast is like old English shit.
yeah,
right?
like old
So
old English. There's Sussex, which is
Okay.
spelled sex. Like
It's
That's
suspicious
a suspicious
sex.
sex.
yeah,
And this is why we're married.
she wants to have sex, and I wonder why. I'm
I'm
gonna do
sus.
it, but I'm sus.
He tells the therapist about Frank and how I think Frank wants me to talk to Grandma Death. And the therapist is just like, let's not talk about your imaginary friend.
Yeah,
How about that? Because you're insane.
not a good therapist. I'm like, what about this? What did you say to me? Go ahead.
Exactly.
Let's talk
Keep
about this
going.
giant rabbit. Let's talk about Grandma
She's
Death
not a
little
very
bit.
good therapist.
No,
They
she's
do-
fine.
they do
It's
get into
88.
a-
It's 88.
They do get into a really crazy
$200 an
conversation.
hour and 88 money is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
His parents are not poor.
Yeah. Well, they might be now.
I don't think anybody in that town is poor.
They might be now.
Well, he gets a whole new bedroom.
Because guess who? Well, that's on the FBI.
That's true.
Like, don't
They
tell
wouldn't-
people about this.
So were they just changing his bedroom, thinking that that'll help his mental state? They're like, so
Ooh.
instead of all this dark shit you have hanging up, let's put naked women on your wall.
Maybe
I love,
that's not a bad call.
Maggie Gyllenhaal is sitting in his room talking on the phone, and she's like, yeah, he told the gym teacher to shove a book up her ass, and he got a bunch of new shit.
Which a fucking jet engine dropped in my room.
But there's like a thing with the therapist where he's talking about how everything, Grandma Death told him everything on Earth is alone.
Every
Dies
single
alone.
thing on this earth dies alone.
Dies alone, yeah. And he has a story about his dog going under the patio to die and all this stuff. And she's like, he starts talking about how everything's absurd. And she's like, well, you think the search for God is absurd? And he's like, well, yeah, if we all die alone,
What's the
what's
point?
the point? So
Because he
it's-
keeps saying like, I can never find proof. You can look all your fucking life, so I'm just gonna say God isn't here because you'll never fucking find proof of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she has a comeback to that. Is it right here? Or is
No,
it
that's
it's
later?
later.
later
It's
on.
later.
Okay.
She kind of mom-splains to him.
it's showing Donnie, like,
I like that.
Donnie's thought process on everything. He's at the age where you're trying to figure shit out.
Yeah,
And he's
16's
got mental issues.
Yes, he does.
And then compounded with that, he can't come to terms with the things around him.
She calls him a paranoid schizophrenic.
So now he's getting to those like life questions where as an adult you just go, I don't know, I'll have another beer instead.
Yeah.
But as a teenager, you're like, it's crushing your brain, especially when you're someone like Donnie who's that
Who's
intelligent.
very smart and just wants to fuck.
yeah.
All he's thinking about.
You want to fuck as much as you can before you die. So this is when he sees starts seeing the time spears, is how they kind of refer to it. These globs coming out of people's chests. That's basically showing
The time
your,
dicks.
it's your destiny. But
Yeah.
it does look like a water dick. It's your destiny. It's what you're going to do. Like, it shows his dad walking to the fridge, seeing that Maggie Gyllenhaal wrote "Vote Dukakis" on the fridge, and he's like,
Oh, I
bitch.
guess she did write it. I just thought it was him fucking with him. I thought it was Donnie or Frank fucking with the dad.
No, it's Maggie.
It
'cause
was
it's-
definitely Maggie.
It makes sense that it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
And there is a thing here that they cut out of the theatrical cut that I appreciate. So when Donnie sees the one come out of his chest and he follows it upstairs, there's a thing in the original cut where it comes out and he's just watching it move and he doesn't get up. And then it like turns into a hand and like beckons him.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
looks really cartoony and stupid. And
Yeah,
I'm
we don't
really
need
glad
that.
they took it out.
That sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it's
Better choice.
I also feel like I saw that before.
well, you might have seen it during when I was watching, because they talked about it during the behind the scenes.
No, this was one of the movies that played a lot. Like a lot of my friends watched this, so this was on the TV.
You've seen 5 minutes of it
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Like when I first saw Pulp Fiction, I saw it all broken up, and I saw
So
it.
did everybody.
No, I mean I saw it. I saw it in the way you're not supposed to see
She
it.
actually watched it in chronological
Yes,
order.
that's how it fucking happened for
That's so
me.
stupid.
Right?
Donnie and his sister are carving pumpkins, and he carves. So you guys both commented on the way he's holding the knife.
Yes,
Because he's-
wrapping
he's
his
holding
fingers
the
on
blade.
the blade.
But I knew what was going on. It's because he's getting in there with the details.
Sure, I know there's a way to do it. You can grip up on the blade, but he has his fingers on the edge.
Because he doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck about his fingers.
That's because he's already one step closer to the edge.
He's about to break.
Look, everything you
he's
say to
saying
him puts him one step closer to the edge.
This pumpkin's gonna be great.
Pumpkin he's carving is Frank's face, and it's fucking terrifying.
Great.
It is-
I want to make
carving.
this pumpkin.
Yes.
And it's great because he's not carving all the way through. He's like carving
Yeah.
it thin, so when you put the light in, it's just gonna like glow out.
Well,
of the-
and he had to fillet a bit of it to make the ears.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. Obviously, he's not carving that on set.
No.
Somebody with much talent did that.
Yeah, that's like a Phil
Oh
Shea number.
God, dude, they had so many tools for that.
The parents meet with the therapist to get a follow up on what's going on with Donnie.
And I
Question.
definitely thought, I was like, man, you can't just rat out your client, like your patient like this. You know, confidentiality thing. Then Derrick pointed out he's 16.
Yeah.
And
I think with a minor, I mean, my parents talked to my therapist. Not that I went to one.
I'll
I
but
do
be
think
our-
it's a betrayal of trust for the most part, but it is.
Well, and that
legal.
makes it harder for you. That makes it harder for you as the patient, as a child who doesn't want to be there,
Right.
to tell them anything when you know that they're going to just tell everything to your parents.
Exactly.
Speaking as a child, I went through this, or as an
You
adult.
time traveled as a child, dude?
I did. So the only
didn't?
things that the therapist is allowed to tell the parents is self-harm or harm to others.
Well, no, that's true in any case.
And that's all that they can.
But the minor thing
No.
might change it.
Well, this is also 1988, so
And
maybe there's different
Virginia.
rules.
oh,
I'm
yeah.
surprised they actually have therapists in this state.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
In
Nobody
88?
deals with a quack.
You're going to the what? The therapist? You're going to the fucking therapist? You might as well go vote for communists.
You vote for
You vote
Dukakis,
Dukakis.
too?
You vote for- You know what's going to happen? You vote Dukakis, therapists going to start popping up all over. You ever had a massage? It is a weird sensation. People rubbing up on you, relaxing your muscles.
What
and
is
it's
a
weird.
massage?
They're supposed to be stiff and rigid like a bag of gravel.
It's weird, though, because she was actually the first analyst and therapist.
It's pronounced an hourpist. It's not the spelling that worried me.
But she tells them
Look at
about
this anus
Frank.
tart.
I just love that she's like, has he told you about Frank? And they're like, no, who's Frank? She's like, oh, a 6-foot-tall bunny rabbit he talks to.
Lives in the mirror.
And the mom is just like, I don't remember him mentioning a rabbit.
Her delivery in this, like, I love how she played the mom.
Yeah.
I love her because like she is concerned and she cares for Donnie, but she's got that detached, like waspy mom kind of thing.
Oh,
which
I
is
also
what they
think she's
are.
just like, I am out of my fucking element.
Yeah. You're out of your
Yeah,
element,
look,
Donnie.
You're out of your element, Donnie's mom.
There you go, punching shit up again.
Always.
But this is when she tells him like he's exhibiting signs of paranoid schizophrenia and whatnot. And during this scene, there's a quick cut, which is one of my favorite things in the movie that you'll miss a lot. And it's just Drew Barrymore and Noah Wiley sitting in the teacher's lounge. And he just looks over at her and he goes, Donnie Darko. And she's like, right? and they just kind of have a laugh, and like that's it. Because
Yeah.
they're both
Why
just
did they
like, this
cut
kid
that?
is. Well, they didn't cut it. I'm just saying you'll miss it. It's a quick cut. It only happens really fast.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Exactly. Well, we
That's-
were talking about
yeah.
the therapist thing,
Oh, okay.
but it's a very short thing. But it's just like they're just like that.
It's an
fucking
exceptional
kid.
student. Like they also see like, yes, he's troubled, but he's a fucking genius,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
at least intelligent.
He's
Dude,
pushing
when he's
these limits.
ping-ponging, it's either earlier or later, because we see a couple of times him and Noah Wiley ping-ponging ideas. I mean, he's keeping up with the fucking teacher. You
Yeah.
know, and like, well,
And then the teacher's
well,
like-
what about this?
Well,
I read this.
They start getting into the stuff from the book and everything about like God and this and that, and that's
love
when
this
Noah
moment.
Wiley
Noah
is
is like,
I can no longer continue this conversation. And Donnie at first is pissed because he's like, why? And like, because I could get fired. And he's like, oh, cool, man.
Which
That
makes me
makes
think,
sense.
like, man, take an interest in this kid and be like, we can meet after class. Like, I'll come to your house with your parents and we can talk it over at dinner. I want to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
ugh.
It must be a pain moment for teachers to be like, well, my legs are chopped here, so I have to shut up.
I
Which is
wouldn't know.
which is crazy because he can't he's afraid to continue this conversation because it's getting into God and like all that stuff. But then we got fucking Sparkle Motion walking around just wearing a shirt that says God is awesome, telling them to pray and do all
Sure,
this
but
stuff.
if you
I
start
think
saying that
it's-
God has time travel and is fallible,
Or if God doesn't exist.
because they're talking about like if you can see your path, then everything's predetermined because God has determined time, and he's okay talking about that. But then Donnie gets into, he's like, but what if you're traveling within God's channel? And that's when Noah Wiley's like, yeah, I'm out.
yeah.
This is Virginia.
Yep. And I'm probably an atheist or agnostic.
This is
Yeah.
California talk.
Yeah. Take that shit to commie ass California.
Exactly.
Take Dukakis with you.
But there is the assembly now, the Cunning Vision assembly, where Patrick
Oh,
Swayze is speaking to the
my
class,
God.
and
Get
there's
on up
something-
here.
There's something
I'm
that
gonna size you up.
this is gonna be me breaking things down like a film nerd for you guys. Like what I'm trying not to do too much, but so most of this was shot, and I saw this part in the behind the scenes. They built this insane crane, or they used this crane, and they put it in this space in such a way that like the cinematographer could use the crane to go over the crowd and shoot back, because they're in a real like auditorium, which is not an easy place to shoot. So he could have it down in front of people and shoot back, and he could get everywhere.
So this is like one of those old school, like I don't know, studio camera like you see.
Yeah.
Where
People
it's,
writing.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like that. Except they're not. I don't think that was one they were riding, but it's that idea where it's a huge crane arm.
It's that articulate though.
But it's very smooth shots and all this stuff. And then when Donnie comes out and the music kicks in and things get really intense, everything goes handheld. You can see the
Okay.
camera is like shaky and it's in their face and
I
it's
love
moving
it.
around, and it's kind of
It's
like
to disturb us a little bit.
yeah, because it changes the whole thing, and that's
The whole
that's
pacing.
just me
I
nerding it up.
fucking love that though. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, this cinematographer, I mean, he did some stuff. He's not like a big, like, he's not somebody who you're like, oh, it's not fucking Janusz Kaminski who did fucking Spielberg's movies or anything like that.
I'm so happy he didn't expect us to know who Janusz Kaminski was.
well, he came up.
Same.
Oh, you guys
Fuck.
weren't on that episode. Janusz
what?
Kaminski.
You did an episode without us?
It's
it
just
was-
Derrick yelling in fucking
Oh, with,
microphone.
No, yeah,
Patrick.
the second episode of the podcast, Cool as Ice, Janusz Kaminski was the director of photography on Cool as Ice.
Man, you are really selling me on this Janusz Kaminski guy.
Well, Schindler's List, Amadeus.
Okay. Oh,
Jurassic
okay.
Park.
Okay.
I just learned about Amadeus
This
last
motherfucker
night.
leads with cool as ice, by the way.
Or, I'm sorry, not Amadeus, Amistad.
But still, Jurassic Park, what'd you say before?
Schindler's List, everything
List.
Spielberg.
Yeah, and you still led with cool as ice.
Well, I was just
Continue with
saying
Donnie
that's why he's been
Darko.
on the show before.
It was on that episode.
Go on, what's
But-
Bubble Boy doing here?
Steven Poster, though, this cinematographer, he did do movies you would know. Strange Brew.
Uh-huh.
Don't change that dial on that one.
Uh-huh.
Big Top Pee-wee.
Ooh.
Rocky 5.
Ooh, good
right,
He
all
also
right.
he also worked with Richard Kelly on his other two movies, Southland Tales and The Box.
I'm sure they look great
I mean,
then.
he's done a lot of movies, not a lot of like top tier stuff, but the guy knows what he's doing. He
It
has-
shows.
And it shows.
It shows.
And I think this is a
definitely
case
shows.
where he got to do a lot of. Maybe he's really good and he just doesn't get to work on good stuff. Because this is Richard Kelly being a film student that's like, and he's like, let me tell you how we'll make this work, and he made it work.
I love that when he's bringing the kids on stage, because like one by one, the kid's like, "Well, I don't know what to do with, or no, I need like my
Oh.
sister to lose weight," and he's like,
This is-
"Quit being afraid. Come on, join me on stage."
This
Boop, boop.
is Ashley Tinsdale.
Oh
Says
yeah,
that
who
she's
I don't
got-
know.
Yeah, Tisdale. Where some of you people might know her as Sharpay from High School Musical.
What do you mean, you people? Musical lovers?
What do you
No,
mean?
the
you
people listening to us.
Those people. I
Yeah.
like those people.
I'm a
Also-
musical lover. I've never seen a High School Musical.
I have.
It's high school.
I've
Oh, where'd you
only
see it?
seen clips. And,
I
like,
like,
I was a nanny, okay?
what's
and
his name?
We had the Disney
You
Channel.
don't ever defend your taste on this podcast.
What's that guy that I like that's in that movie?
Oh, Efron.
Yeah, Zac Efron.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that guy a lot.
I
Yeah.
don't think you should be that good looking and that funny. It bugs me.
Oh, don't worry. The
Well,
wrestling movie.
I thought I had to choose.
It is incredibly unfair to the whole rest of the world.
Yeah. That's why I hate Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But so then the second person is, I don't know what to do with my
A
life.
9.5 foot tall kid who says, "What do I want to? How do I tell what I want to be when I grow up?" I'm like, "Grow up? You're fucking 11 feet tall."
Then the last kid, who is the bedwetter from the video.
Yes, he
we're
is the
saying,
bedwetter.
Who
okay.
I think is supposed to be a different kid.
Uh-huh.
But
But I,
doubt
like
it.
him.
No.
He's like, how do I learn how to fight? And Patrick Swayze, of course, is like, no, you just got to love yourself, and the world is
fighting
your
is a
oyster.
product of fear, and
Yeah.
violence is fear. Which actually, when he was saying that part, when he's like,
I wanted to punch
"Violence is
him.
a product of fear," or whatever, I was thinking back to Roadhouse because
yeah.
Patrick Swayze in that movie
I did too.
does kill the shit out of some people, but
He's a Buddhist, right?
he's very against violence. And I was like, is this just Dalton grown up?
Uh-huh.
Like 20 years later, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna make self-help
Don't
videos
ruin it
and
for
diddle
me.
kids.
I don't want Dalton to diddle. But as he's like, well, get on stage, I'm thinking he's going to show him that throat rip from Roadhouse, isn't he? So you apply right here. Do you feel that? That's the tender, fleshy part. You need to apply. You really grip it and rip
So
it.
all three of us thought of Roadhouse when.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what though? To be fair, most
be
of the
fair.
time I'm thinking about Roadhouse.
How do I learn how to fight? Well, you know what? I'm going to have Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott, get on out here.
Ooh!
Sam Elliott, come on down. He's got his little stupid drawings from the cards up on the screen, and the character that he has up there is Frank, which gets Donnie's attention.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because everything happens in fast motion for a second.
I'm time traveling right now.
Donnie
I'm moving
tells
through
Gretchen,
time.
"I'm moving through time," and she's like, "What?" I'm like,
We all
aren't
are.
we all moving
We all
through
are.
time?" Yeah.
Yeah, different speeds maybe. Depends on the fucking strain.
But he's telling them go towards love or whatever. And then Donnie gets up and he's like, how much are they paying you to be here? And
The
you can see
principal's
the
ready to
principal,
rush, dude.
yeah.
Like, fuck, shut this down.
'Cause that principal does not like Donnie.
No.
He fucking hates him.
He's an agitator.
Yeah.
Rebel rouser.
I don't like these smart kids.
Ne'er-do-well. He's questioning the system. I'll have no part of it.
I'm a principal in Virginia for a reason. I do not like.
We're
sorry,
very-
Virginians. I'm not calling you dumb.
We're very progressive. No, Virginia, very much like our state, has made some dumb fucking choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people, there's still great people there. Great people on both sides.
It just happens to be 1850 there, just like it is here.
Yeah.
You know, Patrick Swayze is trying to discredit Donnie. He's
I
like,
can take
look,
him.
He's a prisoner of anger.
This
Look
is
at
fear.
him.
This is fear. That's
Yeah.
all that is.
And all these parents in the audience and teachers are just nodding like, yeah, fear, anger.
Sparkle
something,
Motion's
something.
about to fucking climax.
Dude, Sparkle Motion has to change her socks. They are soaked.
Yes.
And I love it because he tells Donnie, he's like, you know, you're just troubled, you're confused, you're angry, and you don't know. And
Yes,
he's like, yeah,
I am.
I am troubled, I am confused, and I am very, very fucking afraid. But I think you're the fucking Antichrist.
And I love how he's getting escorted out now. And the
he
entire...
literally says fucking Antichrist.
Oh, yeah. But the entire student base is clapping for him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's being dragged out. It's nice.
We also don't like this guy.
He's being shoved down our throats. Some of us, figuratively. Some of
So
us.
you want to choose your words
literally.
wisely, and you did.
yeah,
she
no,
knew what she was
he
doing.
invited that little boy up on stage for a
He
reason.
did. He smacked his butt.
Come on, whoops, stand in line.
Maybe that's why
you're
he wants
first.
to learn how to fight.
I'll teach you how to fight.
And that's why he's like, no, love yourself.
We're gonna start with some wrestling.
The next thing is we find out Drew Barrymore is being fired because she's a good teacher.
Wait, she's a good teacher, but I'm sorry you failed.
Yeah.
Why? Name one way, because he says a bunch. He accuses her of a bunch of things, and she's like, name one way that what I've done is wrong. And he gets like real silent, and he's just kind of
I'm sorry you have failed. Like he's putting it all on her.
yeah.
I think what happened is Sparkle Motion talked to Jim Cunningham, and Jim Cunningham paid for the school to get fixed after the flooding. And so now
Oh, he's
Sparkle
not paying
Motion,
anything.
Sparkle Motion hates Drew Barrymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so she's like, kick him
I
out.
don't think Patrick Swayze is paying anything. This guy takes money. He doesn't give.
Okay.
Immediately after she's fired, when she's walking into the
Immediately.
front door, the principal's making an announcement about how Sparkle Motion was accepted to Star Search. But Donnie is walking home from school, and he finds Patrick Swayze's wallet laying on the street, and you hear Frank in his head like,
know where he lives.
Burn it down.
well, not yet. He just says, now you know where he lives.
That's right.
Which is that house when he was walking Jenna Malone home earlier. He's like, I'll walk you home. And they have a 5-minute conversation, and they're just walking in front of one house. It is the biggest fucking
It's the
plot of
world's
land.
longest house.
This dude
Well,
has way too
you
much
need
money.
the space for the fucking sex dungeon.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of space
Oh,
for your
dungeons
kiddie
should
porn
be
dungeon.
underground.
Yeah, but you still
Yeah.
gotta have the space.
Yeah, you
build
can't be
into
under your neighbor's
underground.
fucking house.
If they don't know about it, you can.
It's Virginia. They have basements.
I know. I've heard the story of El Chapo.
It's Virginia. They have bomb shelters.
It's El Chapo.
Not when I say it. I'm white as shit.
So they go to the movies together, and it's a double feature of The Evil Dead and The Last Temptation of Christ, which, first of all, that's a double feature.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and this is where Derrick has a fun fact.
Well, there's a couple fun facts. First of all, it was supposed to be Chud, not The Evil Dead.
Oh.
But whoever in the offices of Chud
The
Pictures
Chudiverse.
was being an asshole about it, and the Drew Barrymore's producing partner was like, hey, I know Sam Raimi and his people, they'll license us Evil Dead, and he did it for free. So
Dope.
because
Good
he's
on
like
him.
he obviously understands independent
Yeah, he
cinema.
was a low budget.
And but while they were filming the outside part at the Arrow Theater, which is a real theater in Santa Monica, we actually saw it when we were in California.
we
But
did. I
Nice.
do remember that.
I waved at it.
Sam Raimi was driving by while they were filming. Like, he just happened to be driving by, and he sees on the thing, it's all made up like Halloween, even though they're shooting in like June, and it says The Evil Dead and The Last Temptation of Christ. So he like stopped and went to set and was like, hey, what are you guys doing?
What you making here?
What's going on here, boys?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What's
and
this
it's also
Donnie
cool that he
Darko I
gave it
hear
to him.
so much about?
Sam Raimi's from Minnesota, and he's also Bobby's
I don't know
mom.
nothing about him, so it's kind of like just default. What you
you say
boys
he's
filming
Bobby's
there?
Yeah, that's what he sounds like. Bobby's mom from Bobby's World.
Oh, don't
then
you
there.
know?
Don't you know, Bubble? What are you filming there at the Evil
don't-
Dead? Is that the movie with Willem Dafoe's penis?
I don't know where he's from. I
Minnesota.
read Bruce Campbell's book about making Evil Dead, but I can't remember where they were from. Doesn't matter.
Well, you failed. Is he
'Cause that's
human?
not this movie. But so Gretchen basically immediately falls asleep because like we're like a half hour into Evil Dead, if that.
It's exhausting
asleep.
dating Jake Gyllenhaal, dude.
That's
It
fair.
was like 15, 20 minutes into the movie because it's like the drive. Zip would tell you exactly what minutes this was
yeah.
at.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's been a little bit since
Oh,
I've
he's
seen
born
the
in
original.
Michigan. That's Sam Raimi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got it right with an M. It's on the
I'm
same.
just right there.
It's
Same
like
Just a hop
same
across the
area,
pond there.
right?
Yeah, we
Just across that Great Lakes.
Sorry, I had a little Marissa Tomei in me. What can I
Ooh,
say?
man, sounds like a pegging him a good evening.
yeah. You know what? I'm not about butt stuff, but Marissa Tomei could do it.
The rest of the maid can do it.
Yes,
Can
we
I
can.
watch?
Yes, we can, darling.
Can I watch?
It's a little game called Fuck Me, Fuck You.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's going to do it.
I learned this from my cousin Vinny.
Now raise your right hand because you're about to swear to God.
But Gretchen's sleeping. Frank shows up and starts talking to Donnie. And Donnie's like, I love this scene too, because Donnie's like, why do you always wear that stupid bunny suit? He's like, why do you wear that stupid man suit? And the fucking smile on fucking Jake Gyllenhaal's face just goes, he's like, why do I wear this stupid
Dude,
man
this is
suit?
Yeah.
this is a making of a Joker movie sometimes.
1,000%.
Like it's little high school Joker. Little baby joke.
Little baby jokes.
Little baby jokes.
And he tells him, he's like, take off the mask. And he takes it off. And this is when we see James Duvall for the first time, who is playing Frank in the suit the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Which isn't something
And
you
the
would always
voice,
do.
but it's just distorted.
Yeah. And it's not something you would always do, but I've seen interviews with James Duvall, not Frank Duvall. I've seen interviews with James Duvall, and he's like, yeah, they asked me if I wanted to do the stuff in the suit. And I was like, well, yeah, because it makes sense. Like, it's me. That's the character. He's like, also, that meant I got to work more, so I got paid.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like this is not a big enough actor to be like stunt bunny. Like no, I'll be that guy.
Yeah, because, I mean, it could be just about anybody. You know,
Sure,
you could just
same
be
height.
like, you could be like, hey, lighting guy, get in the suit real quick, you know?
Can we talk about this eyeball?
Hey intern.
Yeah, he takes off his mask, and you see the eyeball. His eyeball is shot out, his right eye.
Uh-huh.
Or it's gored out. You don't know what happened, but
Which and
We
an
do.
earlier scene when he's in the bathroom taking his pill and that plexiglass scene and he's stabbing it with a knife, that right eye starts to glow. So
Yeah.
it's being hinted 20 minutes
Oh,
prior.
and that's happening, by the way. 'Cause I don't think we talked about that.
It
We
happens
talk-
numerous times. Like every time he
for
takes
sure,
a pill.
but the knife one.
Yeah.
It's while the therapist is telling the parents.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because
yeah,
it keeps
we did
kind of
forget to
cutting
mention that,
back and
yeah.
forth a bit. It's the same scene as him slapping the mirror, essentially, but now he's like stabbing the mirror.
And they actually
yes,
put
to
up a big
Whitney's-
piece of plexiglass in front of him, so he was
Oh,
just
it
stabbing
shows.
at the
It shows.
plexiglass because
And
that
it's
way he can get that
perfect.
hard stop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because you would read it if somebody's like short stopping the knife. It's not going to be the same area if you're stabbing air.
Exactly.
It's going to be different. This is great.
Here's a moment of me actuallying you guys. So Frank has been in this movie from almost the very first scene.
Actually, how so?
So when Donnie is riding home during the NXS
You see
song,
the car.
the Trans Am drives by. That's Frank's Trans Am.
Uh-huh.
And then Frank is Maggie Gyllenhaal's
Boyfriend.
So when she's dropped off
Oh,
at the
he
house,
is?
You'll learn it
you-
at the
during the
Halloween party.
she says like, "Hey, where's Frank?" And they're like, "Oh, he went to get beer."
Oh, that's right. I
But
just
it's
figured
all
somebody
real,
else
And
like
it's written on the
Frank.
board.
it's all real background. Like it's
Oh,
I
I
loved
thought
it.
the
I
Frank
did
was
pick up
here,
on that.
went to get beer was just
no.
the
So
bunny.
that's James Duval's. That's Frank's handwriting, which is why
Gotcha.
like they made me do it, and it's the same handwriting that he wrote the number on his arm, and
Uh-huh.
so I'm actually over. But it's funny because in the movie Southland Tales, which we probably won't cover because it's just like it's a lot.
It's chaotic.
But I love it. There is a point where Sean William Scott, there's two of him, and he shoots his clone, or no, his clone gets shot. He doesn't shoot him, but his clone gets shot also in the eye,
Ah.
but it's the left eye. So I'm like, he just likes eye shots.
Yeah.
But the
Who doesn't?
practical makeup job on this eyeball looks really fucking good.
Yeah, they had a guy who built like the whole prosthetic for the face, and it's not just like they put goop on his eye. It's like the forehead and the cheek. And like they were talking about like this dude was sitting there putting individual hairs in for the eyebrow.
Yeah, for the
and
eyebrow.
stuff.
That
Like,
eyebrow is
Giving
not
a
his
shit,
eyebrow.
dude.
Yeah.
That is actually placed on his face.
That's dope. Well done.
Seriously well done.
And Donnie's having a little bit of a freak out here, and he's like, "Dude, when is this finally gonna stop?" And Frank's like,
Why don't you know this
I think
already?"
you should know that."
I think you know the answer.
And then he
Yeah.
tells him,
In 0 days.
burn it to the ground. Well, it's not 0 days. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
what day this is now, but
Close.
It's
we're getting
close.
there. Yeah. But he tells him, burn it to the ground. So he gets up and leaves the theater.
Oh, it shows in the portal. Have you ever
Oh,
seen a
yeah.
portal?
And the scene that they're showing where the portal comes out of the movie
movie
screen and
screen?
stuff, that's about a half hour into the movie. He tells him, burn it to the ground. So he leaves, and there's
So
like a
does that
talent
mean
show
that
going on at the school.
He fell asleep also? Because he only sees
No,
Frank
he's starting
when
to see him
sleeping.
when he's awake now.
Well, he only sees him when he's hypnotized or when
But
he's sleeping.
it's increasing because we're getting closer to the end.
Okay.
And his delirium is increasing. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the further we get to the end, and especially when Frank's around, Jake Gyllenhaal ain't blinking.
Oh,
no, he's
wow.
not.
Which makes you uncomfortable.
A full Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I'm going to not blink at you.
There's like a talent show going on at the school. Tarina Chen is doing like a swan dance of some sort, and
Yes.
it's really nice.
It's a
Actually, it's a good
beautiful
moment for her.
scene.
Probably very cultural for her, too. Like,
Well, because it seems like it's like something to do with
They
whatever
called it
her
the
Asian culture is. The autumn
swan or some shit.
But she's like super into it, and she's like dancing and being like free. I mean, she's not great, but she's a kid who's trying to do something. But then it's funny because as soon as her thing ends, she like shuts down again and she like shuffles off stage like, oh fuck, they're looking at me.
I just realized I'm watching, and a bunch of people are watching me. I've got to go.
Yeah.
And then it's followed by Sparkle Motion, who
Which was
everybody loves, of
supposed to
course.
be West End Girl.
But they use the NXS. Was it NXS? No, it's Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Notorious.
Uh-huh.
Which is also not an appropriate song for children to dance to.
Correct.
I don't think any of this child dancing is ever appropriate.
I think
But-
that's
okay.
kind of the point, right? It's like all
Yeah.
these people are cheering and stuff, but it's like,
Your mom's this religious fanatic kind of thing, but she
Yeah.
also loves pre-cheerleading.
but everybody's cheering for them. It's a good time, but we cut also, it's intercut with Donnie burning the fuck out of Patrick Swayze's house.
Yeah.
And this is when we see that painting.
There goes the painting.
That 100% looks like the Goblin King, but with Patrick
It
Swayze.
is. I
Swayze.
think they asked for it. I swear to God, there's so many
And
labyrinth.
it does not look like
things.
Patrick Swayze, I'll tell you that.
No, it
No,
does
there's
not. Or
so
the hair he
many
has.
links to the labyrinth. I think that Kelly likes the labyrinth.
I'm sure he does. I guarantee he does. This guy that made this movie, has to like the labyrinth.
He has to.
I mean, because again, he's making this, he's like 23, so he's only, what, 4 years older than you, roughly?
He would. This
When
would.
did- yeah?
Labyrinth would have come out at a pretty good time in his life.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
came. I turned 20 in 2001. So yeah.
This is a director's cut conversation now that we have between Donnie Darko and his dad. The dad's just chilling in the yard drinking whiskey, as
Love
one
it.
does.
As one does.
And he
If
just
you lived
sits
in
down.
Virginia, you would do that in October also.
Oh, yeah, in October.
I do it in October here.
Yeah, it's still like 90 degrees
Oh, no,
outside.
October can be
but
nice.
by the evening it's cooled off.
it's
In the
like 4
daytime it's
o'clock.
still 108, but
Yeah.
He
it
just got
gets-
home from school. It's 4 o'clock.
No, you wouldn't be doing it while the sun was up in Arizona.
No.
At least I wouldn't. I'm still hiding inside. Actually, I'm probably at work. But but yeah, Dad's drinking whiskey, and Donnie just sits down. He's like, "Dad, I'm crazy," and the dad's like,
You're not
you're not
crazy.
crazy.
I was crazy once, but you're not crazy.
and he's like, "All these people out there, it's a conspiracy of bullshit." And you're smarter than all them, and they know it, so they're gonna act like you're crazy. Something along those lines.
Yeah,
he
and
does say
like-
conspiracy of bullshit at some point.
It is a beautiful moment between father and son, and you're like, good on
But
you, mate.
I love it when he's like, "You know what you say to those people? Fuck you."
It is good dadding.
It is the best
Because he
dadding.
recognizes his son is definitely troubled.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
And he tells him, he's like, no matter what happens to you, dude, just live. What he says, like I can't remember what he says, like live something in like free and true.
There's
Something
a
like
scene.
that.
And later on, yeah, with the mom, when he's like, "Mom, what's it like having a crazy son or something like that?" And she's like, "It's great."
Oh, no. That's not the scene I'm talking about.
okay.
A past scene we didn't dive on is they're laying in bed. Mom and dad are laying in bed. This is the hotel
At the
scene.
hotel right after the accident.
And her head is on his stomach, chest. And he's like, there was a crazy kid in my school. And like,
he's a kid who
like,
died on the way to prom.
Yeah.
Oh, they said he was doomed.
Yeah.
And they could be saying the same thing right now about Donnie.
And it terrifies me. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know.
So this is when we get the news report, and it's funny because Maggie Gyllenhaal's watching, and they're talking about this house burning, and they're like, "We found a kiddie porn dungeon," and she's just like,
What the
well, at first
fuck?
she's just like, "Huh," and they're like, "The house belonged to Jim Cunningham," and that's when she's like, "Oh shit, everybody, come in here, Patrick Swayze's a pervert."
Donnie, get in here.
Yeah, the fact that it's like the firefighters discovered what they described as a kiddie porn dungeon.
The fire, like, so we're gonna stop investigating the fire, right? Like, this is
Yeah.
a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like, let his shit burn, right? Fuck him. All right, cool.
They're
fuck
not
him.
Got
saying
you.
if arson is suspected, but no one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah. Turns out that firefighters don't like child molesters. It's a very weird thing.
Very weird.
They're not priests.
You know what? Nobody likes child molesters except for members of NAMBLA.
And the Catholic Church.
That's what I said.
Derrick said something to me. The only reason they molest boys is because there's no female altar boys.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Kiddie porn dungeon is less terrifying than the real world. So
Yes.
Yes, it is. You wish you got molested by fucking Patrick Swayze.
Yes, I do.
so now it's
Inappropriate crush.
no. He was older than you. That makes it okay.
Yeah.
You can have a crush on someone older.
Especially when you're
I
now
also had a
this
crush
old
on-
watching something of him in the same
Oh
age
no,
or
Dirty
younger.
Dancing. I was like, I'll dance
It
with
doesn't
you.
matter though. I also had a crush on Christina Applegate like Jake Gyllenhaal did, and you know what? She was much older than me.
Difference is he left the sound on.
Well, I wanted to laugh while I was masturbating.
He wanted to. He didn't want them to
Just look
hear
down.
him masturbate. And O'Neill's voice is like, "Yeah, Peggy."
Why is it
He's
so?
like, "Oh."
Why is it so quiet in Derrick's room? He's watching Married with Children again,
No,
and apparently he's flicking a jar of mayonnaise.
I didn't feel like cheek masturbating like she's doing now.
I hope you get
Gotta
that.
be a better name.
I hope that Foley work works for you.
Splatsterbating?
He had liquid in his mouth at that point.
Everybody splatsterbating did.
So it's October 24th now, 1988. 6 days remain. They're watching the movie Watership Down. There's a little cartoony thing. I think I watched it in school, but who could care?
And she's
I'm with
crying.
Donnie because she's like, "Hey, so what do we think about this and that in the movie?" And he's like, who could possibly give a shit?"
Well, you don't care about like the death, and it's like, no, they're fucking rabbits. I don't care about rabbit death.
Like,
You
yeah,
think-
sure, they're cute and fuzzy.
You think one
and-
species is better
fuck
than the
all the
other?
time.
Yes, yes, I do.
I love his thing. He's like, "Look, they're cute. I love rabbits. They're cute. They're horny. And if you're cute and you're horny, you're probably happy."
Yeah, yeah. They don't have history books. They don't have things like they don't have what we have to forget and remember.
Yeah, and
You're
his,
just trying to
And then
fuck
his
as many times
girlfriend?
as you can before you die.
yeah, and his girlfriend speaks up against it, and she's like, "No, they're supposed to represent people and whatever." But it's just kind of showing like Donnie's getting to the point where he's like, "Who could possibly care?" Because earlier in the thing, he's defending the Smurfs, And now he's like, fuck these rabbits. So
He's
defending
losing
the
his
Smurfs,
shit.
except for the fact they have no dicks.
yeah. I mean, he's just saying it's illogical to be a Smurf,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I guess.
Yes, it is.
This is when Sparkle Motion mom shows up at Donnie's house to talk to his mom.
The
and
worst
she's
way
got
to
that
ask somebody
shirt,
for a
Oh
favor.
my
But
lord!
the shirt is just capital. It's like diagonal across the shirt, and it looks like it was made at a mall kiosk.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's just capital God is awesome. 2 exclamation points.
Still making the shirt for Durka.
But yeah, the worst way to ask somebody too. She's like, "Well, I have to go to this arraignment. I have to be
Yeah,
there."
I have to defend Patrick Swayze.
I
There's
have
no
asked
way.
every other mother, and they are all
you're the-
busy.
Obviously, you're the last person I'd like to ask.
Oh, thanks.
So, but I'm out of options. Let's do it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a bad weekend. Richard's out of town for work.
But she does it anyway because she's like, we made your daughter lead dancer. I thought this meant something to you. She does it.
I'm sorry. The line is, sometimes I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
How do you say this?
One
with
of
a
the
straight
greatest
face?
delivered lines. The way she delivers it too is just so
You know what? I can
emotional.
see saying with a straight face. How do you hear this and not just like die? I don't know about your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
How many takes do you think this took?
I mean,
As long as they're not worried about fucking Mary McDonald laughing in the
I
background.
was gonna say like she's a seasoned pro at this point.
Yeah.
And
But yes, also don't get a face reaction.
Oh,
Get the
no.
back of her head.
And Donnie at this point writes a letter to Roberta Sparrow, and you guys were like, "That's not how you send a letter," but he's delivering it by hand because we didn't mention. All she does all day is walk back and forth across her driveway, checking her mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's fucked up in a time travel loop, and she knows something's coming.
Did we mention like not only is she the one that wrote the book, but she was a nun,
We didn't mention
Yeah,
that
she
yet.
left-
Noah Wiley says she was a nun,
and then one day
just changed.
yeah.
Wrote this book and in one night had this book written.
And then she was a teacher at the school for a while and stuff like
But
that.
it probably wasn't one night to her.
Exactly.
Time cop.
Do you think that's what happened? That's why she looks all melty. She touched herself. She's not actually old. She just touched herself and turned into goop.
You saw what happened to activist Ron Silva.
Yeah, Ron Silva turns into goop. You've seen it. Don't change that dial on Time Cop.
Ever. Even if it's on CBS.
I never watched it.
You did. You watched it with me.
No, I didn't.
So Donnie walks in and finds out that Drew Barrymore got fired, and he's like, "That's so not fair. You're the only good teacher here." And she's like,
I know.
Thank you. God, this kid gets it. Why don't you nerds get it?
And she has something written on the board. It's cellar door, which she says a famous linguist once said it was the most beautiful phrase in the English language. And I looked up some stuff, and apparently it's something J.R. Tolkien said. I only mention it because it's Chekhov's cellar door. It'll
Yeah.
be back. So
A lot of this
Yes.
movie is Chekhov's.
yeah, I mean the first shot is literally how the movie ends, kind of. Like,
The
it's-
Trans Am.
Well, and then like the mountain, and because that's where he goes back. We'll get there in a couple minutes. So he's back at the therapist, and she's talking to him about like what, childhood memories and stuff, and he's talking about feeling regret, and she's like, "What else makes you
And
feel
now
regret?"
he's talking more childish. Like
Oh.
it's
Hungry hippos.
yeah, when he says what he wanted for Christmas, and how did it feel to make you not get these hungry hippos?
regret. I was full of regret. I'm 5.
what else made you feel regret?
What did he say?
I did it again.
Yeah.
And he's holding back a laugh when he says it. I
Yeah.
did it again.
And then he just spills the fucking beans.
I fucking chopped up the school and flooded it.
I burnt down
fucking
the-
burnt down that
He
pedophile's
says I
house.
burnt down that pervert's house.
pervert. Yeah.
So fuck
And
him.
her face is mortified.
And he tells her, "I have the power to build a time machine." And she's like, "Okay." He's
we've-
under hypnosis.
We've
at this
shifted
point.
gears, haven't we?
and then she's like, "How is that possible?"
And he goes, and he kind of just ignores it. He's like, "Frank says time's up, and he's gonna kill someone." And she's like, "Oh fuck, who's Frank gonna kill?"
No.
And then he's crying and then starts walking around the room, still in
Grabs a
hypnosis.
little puppy.
And like, she ends up waking him up, and then she's embracing him.
Hugging him.
And when he goes to leave, she's like, "By the way, you can stop taking your pills. They're placebos."
Okay, I have an issue with this part.
Sugar in
She
water.
says they're just water.
They're
And I'm
pills
like,
made of water, is what she says. But
fuck you, bitch. They're made of sugar.
Oh, no. He's diabetic, so they give him water pills.
But
But
it's a gel
also-
cap full of water.
Jake Gyllenhaal's keeping lean.
A week ago, when you said he is paranoid schizophrenic, Give him the real fucking pills at this point.
Yeah.
She said he exhibits signs of paranoid schizophrenia.
Give him real fucking pills.
It's not going to matter soon.
Yeah, she's like, it's
The
too
world's
late.
ending in a couple days, dude.
Yeah, that's what she's,
mean,
she's
his
like,
world
it's
is
too late.
ending.
The world's about to end, so I'm not
Sorry,
putting him on
I
pills.
failed.
Well, that's why you're fired, bitch.
And we cut now. It's October 29th, 1988. We find out Maggie Gyllenhaal got into Harvard, so they decide to throw a party
Harvard.
because mom is out of town, dad's out of town.
Small party.
Harvard.
Small party.
Just a small party.
Just
Small
a small,
party.
just a couple friends.
Yeah, and they have that guy there with
and
the
in fact,
ponytail.
was not a small party.
They have that guy there from Harvard with the ponytail who's like, "How you like them apples?"
Oh, he likes them apples.
was-
Maggie
he was-
Gyllenhaal's apples.
He was Mayhem's deaf brother in Oz. Sorry.
Never watched Oz. I saw the first episode. And Gretchen shows up to the party, and she's like, "My mom disappeared. She left a note that said, 'Go somewhere safe.' I don't know what the fuck's going on." So to console herself, she fucks Donnie.
Yeah, they
And
get
as
it
soon-
on.
He must be good because as soon as like that's done, she ain't worried about mom no more. No,
she's in a pretty good mood.
Can we talk about how when they're about to start to get it on his mother's bed, mother is calling and leaving a recorded message on their answering machine that they can hear?
Well, you got to fuck in your mom's bed and assert dominance,
Which
dude.
is the same answering machine I had.
Ours was attached to our telephone.
Like,
'cause
this is the
we were
exact
cool.
same model and everything. I'm like, I'm Donnie Darko. And it's funny because also Donnie's friends show up and one of them's like, "I stole 4 beers from my dad." And he's like, "We have a keg. Keg beers are for pussies."
What? I don't.
No.
And then it's
I don't get it.
Also, can we say one of his friends is dressed as Hulk Hogan and
it's
has
great.
a pink thong over his shorts?
and his shirt, I think his name is Thomas because his shirt, I think, says Thomas Mania instead of Hulk.
Oh, nice. Fuck yeah, dude. See, I can't do that. Jackamania sounds.
Sounds like something I want to do.
You're gonna get a different crowd at that fucking place. Brother, come on down to Jackamania. No.
And then the clock must roll over to midnight because we get the title card October 30th, 1988. 6 hours remain in the podcast. And
Oh yeah, the mother's also saying we're taking the red-eye flight back. We'll be home at 8:30. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to be on the plane.
It came to nothing. I thought it was. I mean, that's why it didn't come to nothing. Maybe I'm preconditioned. I thought it was like we're gonna have like a. Oh shit, sis, we gotta clean up.
Yeah.
is when the cat in the hat asks them.
Right.
The cat in the hat wants to help him clean.
Oh God, you rascals!
Mike Myers shows up to clean their house.
Now it's a scary movie.
I like the Family Guy bit where it's the cat in the hat thing. And he's like, "You want me to clean this all up?" And he's like, "No, leave it. It'll be funny."
I like it.
Donnie sees written on the board on the fridge, "Frank was here, went to get beer," and it's in the same handwriting. So that's Frank's handwriting, which I'm like, "Yo, Frank, you take way too long to write stuff. This is
Yeah.
artistically done scribble scrabble."
But we see
Yeah.
he is artistic as fuck.
Yeah, he's painting and shit, right? So he starts seeing more of the time spears, but the one kind of comes into Donnie's face and he starts having like some hallucinations. And when we cut back, he's just got his head in the middle of Jenna Malone's like stomach because he's looking into her like time portal thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Not her vagina.
I do, even especially earlier when he first sees the things, again, Gyllenhaal's doing really good work. Like, you believe at what he's looking at.
Yeah.
And like you just said, they didn't even know what they're going to look like, let alone there's nothing practical there.
Yeah.
And his face is selling it with that, like, following. It's like, oh, man, he's fucking putting in some face work.
Yeah, he is. I'll take that face work.
Yeah, I bet you would, play girl.
But he tells them, like, we have to go see Grandma Death. It's his 2 friends and Jenna Malone. And they're like, why? And he's like, because time's running out. Don't fucking ask questions. Just come with me.
I
So
don't
they do.
have time for this.
And they fucking jump on their bikes and Stranger Things out of there down to Grandma Death's house. And they're ringing the doorbell. No one's answering.
We're just Stranger Things down to Grandma Does House. Fine.
And then they're like, oh, he's like a cellar door.
Jenna Malone's like, excuse the fuck out of me.
It'd be maddening being this guy's friend because he never explains anything. Just like, cellar door, what's that mean?
Well,
Follow
she does
me.
have a comment very early in the movie when she first talks to Donnie and he gives her his name. She's like, sounds like a superhero. He's like, what makes you think I'm not?
True. True.
But when they're in the cellar looking around, the fucking bullies show up. Tall John and Seth Rogen.
Fucking
And they drag him
knife
outside.
to throats.
Yeah, he's got a big old knife because we didn't mention it earlier, but he went into Donnie in the bathroom at one point and was like, you told them
yeah.
that I flooded the school, and he pulled a switchblade on him. Now he's got this butcher knife, and he's like, hey, I've got a bigger
So
fucking
they were there
knife
to like
now.
rob the place or something, right? Like
Yeah,
they
'cause
were
they've
already
got
there.
like pantyhose over their heads and
Yeah.
shit. So
And they even said at one of the dinners, like, she's loaded. but she's also crazy. Kids used to go up there all the time and try and take stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
These two idiots.
And Seth Rogen tosses Gretchen into the middle of the road, and she's like all fucked up. And
the breath is taken out.
yeah, and this car is coming, and
You called
for
the
some
cops?
reason, yeah, Tall John is like, "You called the cops?"
And they're hearing a fucking Firebird?
I'm like, also, he called the cops from what, his cell phone?
Yeah.
But Seth
Even when
Rogen
this
takes
got
off.
made, not many people had cell phones.
Seth Rogen
That's
takes
true.
off. The two friends take off. The Trans Am comes whipping around the corner. Grandma Death standing in the middle of the road, so it swerves to miss her and runs over Jenna Malone, instantly killing
Oh,
her.
yeah.
And that's when Tall John, who in this scene we find out his name is Seth, by the way, which is funny.
Huh.
Because I heard Seth Rogen say Seth.
Huh. He was talking to himself really stoned.
That checks.
And
Like,
he
just leave it
fucking bails too, because he's like, oh shit, someone's dead, I'm out. And a
I
clown
was going
gets
to
out of the
slit
car.
throats, not run somebody over.
A clown gets out of the car, the passenger,
Oh, it's a clown car.
which the mom was watching or was reading it earlier. I don't know if that
There
has
are
anything
more
to do with
books
anything,
being
but-
read in this family than ever. I know it's 88.
Yeah, what else are you doing?
I read a lot in
Watching some
88.
TV, playing some Nintendo, dude. There is so many people's in this movie just like, oh, let me put this book down and pontificate on something real quick. All right, back to my reading. It's multiple members of the family.
Yeah. It's good family.
All right.
But then we get like the slow reveal. Getting out of the car, we see the legs with the bunny suit, and it's like the pan up, and it's Frank. And I just love it because he's a very Keanu Reeves-esque look and talk in this. And it's every
Is
time
she
this guy comes
dead?
up, he's like, "Is she dead?" Real quiet. And then Donnie looks over. He's like, "What are you doing in the middle of the road, huh?"
What are you doing in the road?
Just the way he delivers it. And that's like one of his only lines that's not creepy Frank. He popped up in something we were watching, and I was like, Frank from Donnie Darko. And she's like, no. And I'm like, what are you doing in the middle of the road, huh? And she's like, that doesn't help.
It doesn't.
It is so Keanu, dude. It's great.
And Donnie fucking shoots him in the face. We didn't mention, I don't think, when he was following the time things around earlier.
No, he found his dad's gun.
His dad's gun, which he then is telling the therapist about the time things, but he fails to mention the gun.
And you followed it? Yeah. What'd you find? Nothing.
Not a gun.
Stay my life, Mom.
But I love it because he shoots Frank in the face and kills him.
Shoots him in the eyeball.
And then he tells
That's how you got that.
the other friend, he's like, go home and tell your parents everything's going to be okay. And this guy's like, yep.
I don't think it will, but you got it, buddy.
Also, this is what I was going to say. During this whole movie, it has been like in the foreground, I guess. I don't know, like pressed onto pages from this book.
Yes, and this is a director's cut thing. We have the close-ups of Jake Gyllenhaal's eye, which is the blue eye, and it'll like dilate, and then there'll be like a wave, and it'll show something that pertains to what's about to happen,
Yes.
fire, water,
Pages of
etc.
the book.
And then pages from the book, which were, I guess it was a special feature on the DVD of the original thing. And it's funny, I watched this terrifying
Oh
fan
my God.
documentary on the Blu-ray. It's like, this guy made it for the director's cut DVD. It was like a competition of like who can make the best like documentary, and you can get on the DVD. This kid is terrifying. His name is like Donnie Donaldson or some weird
Oh,
shit.
no.
And he's this, no offense, Jack, creepy ginger kid
Oh, none taken, dude.
who is obsessed. He's got pictures of Jake Gyllenhaal sleeping hung over his bed.
Yikes.
He's like, this is my collection, and it's just,
Wait, Jake Gyllenhaal was sleeping over his bed?
well, pictures of Jake Gyllenhaal are sleeping.
Got it. Over his bed. I see.
It's pictures from this movie of Jake Gyllenhaal sleeping hung over this dude's bed. And he's got like 18 copies of Donnie Darko on DVD for some reason.
That's too many copies.
And maybe more. And he's like super obsessed with them, and it's really weird. He stalks James Duvall. He stalks Richard Kelly. But
They all said thanks.
he starts asking Richard Kelly, like he sees him at like a convention, he calls him. He finds his number on like the internet, and he's
And
like,
he's just
"It's crazy
leaving
what you
him
can do on the internet." And
messages.
he's leaving him messages. He's like, I have questions about the
It's
time
me
travel, the
again.
philosophy of time travel book.
Hey, stalker here again.
Yeah, and when he sees him at a convention, he's like asking him questions about the philosophy of time travel, and Richard
And
Kelly's
Kelly's
like,
like-
"It's not a real book. I made it up."
Yeah.
This isn't because he's like, well, it skips from chapter 9 to chapter 12. Oh, what's in between there? And he's like, nothing. It's made up.
I didn't write chapter 11.
Yeah. He also ends
write
up.
chapter
He's
10.
like, I have to whisper something to you at this convention, and Richard Kelly's like, just tell me from over there.
Yeah, don't love knife
And like
me.
James Duvall is standing in between them because he's already stalked James Duvall at this point to get his autograph. So he's like, get away from Richard, please. And he does end up getting close to him, so because this kid won't leave, so he gets close to him and he just kisses Richard Kelly and runs away. It's fucking
How
terrifying.
Pepe
dude.
Le Pew of him.
It's so creepy. But yeah, the excerpts from the book and whatnot, which is one of the things people get mad about because they're like, well, that's explaining the story to you. And I'm like, is it?
No,
It's
It gives you
not.
some
accentuating,
pointers.
but
It is giving you pointers. And
It's meant
right
to be
here
a thing
especially.
if you've watched the movie a lot and then you see that, you're like, oh, this ties to that and this ties to that. I get it now. But if you're watching it the first time, you're not going, oh, he's the tangential universe, whatever. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Because at this point, it does do that when a person wakes from their tangent sleep, they have memories still.
yeah, and that's kind of the most
explaining
important one.
this whole last scene.
But so Donnie ends up taking Gretchen up to the mountain. There's like some ominous skies. A portal's coming out of the sky. He's watching, and you can see a plane flying, and that's the plane with his mom and sister. And all of a sudden, it like starts to drop while they're on the plane, and you see the engine falling off. So that's the engine that fell through, and it goes into a portal, and blah blah blah. The police are showing up at Donnie's house because I'm sure Clown Kid went home and was like, Donnie Darko murdered my friend.
yeah, Frank's dead.
But so it's the engine from their plane, so they're gonna die in this version of the universe. And there's kind of a rewind thing, and somehow
That was
Donnie.
what confused me a
Well,
little bit.
I don't think it's that just them dying. This universe is about to end. Like,
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is that's one of the things the little book things tell you is like it'll collapse on itself, and it'll also destroy all other universes.
Yeah.
if this tangent universe isn't closed.
And that's where it finally made sense to me this time. I'm like, oh, and that's why he had to bring, because one of the pages said death. It has to be moments of death that open this
Yeah.
portal and all of that.
I don't really understand how he went back. Him and Noah Wiley have a conversation about how anything can be a vessel to get you back, and he's like, "You mean like a DeLorean?" Which is pretty cool.
Well, and in the book as well, it talks about how the person chosen will have powers.
Yeah,
It says telekinesis, which we never see him use.
no, but it
But-
also like increased strength, the axe into the solid bronze statue.
Yeah.
you know? But so somehow he travels back. And we cut to like Donnie in his bed the night that he went and met Frank, but instead of getting up and meeting Frank, he's awake
And laughing.
and he's just laughing.
So what's he laughing at?
He's
'Cause
laughing
he
because
remembers.
he remembers everything that's going on.
Right.
And he's laughing because he's dying
I
alone,
think
and the
he's laughing
irony
at
and the fact.
yeah, the irony of everything.
Gotcha.
Because he lays down to like go to sleep and he's smiling and he just rolls over and he's like, "All right, well, this is my fate. This is what happens."
I think it has a little bit to do with the therapist because he's like, we all die alone, yada, yada. And she's like, no, if you make this choice, you die alone with just Frank and you, and Frank's not real. But if you don't make this choice and you die, or the world, like everybody that you've ever touched will remember you. You live that way. You know, you won't die alone in that sense. So maybe in my mind, that's why he's laughing. He's like, oh, I'm making a difference right now.
I love that. And I love that you get, because we're all right.
Yeah.
I feel like we are
Oh,
all
for
right.
sure.
and that's the thing. I mean, even at the wrap of this movie, there's a story of like Jake Gyllenhaal and Seth Rogen talking about the movie, and they both agreed, like, I have no idea what this is about. There's a booklet that came with this 4K. It's one
Seth
from
Rogen
Arrow.
says that a lot.
Because it comes down to like, well, even if you ask Richard Kelly, what's this about? He's like, well, you see. It's not like, oh, it's about this.
No.
It's
there's
about a bunch
so
of
many
stuff,
fucking
and-
layers.
But so he he gets back there and he decides, I'm dying tonight. The plane engine drops through the roof. And this is the thing you were talking about earlier. That's like, it's one shot. Because they built this 2-story house set for this shot. And they're like, we're dropping. This is a real plane engine. They took all the guts out so they could make it manageable.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
could move
But like,
it.
they're like, we're going to drop this. We got one take. And it was up to the camera operator to get the tilt at the just right time
It's
to
not
watch
a
it come
pan,
down.
it's a tilt.
Tilts are up and down, pans are left and right.
Okay.
And they did a great job because you see the engine falling through. It's the same scene from earlier.
Another fun fact, the song was absolutely written.
This version of this song. So
Oh, yeah. I was like, no, this song was not written for this.
No.
and also I want to mention one thing real quick. There's an alternate take for the end at this part where the camera goes around the engine and it's Donnie laying there with like a wooden beam sticking out of his chest all covered in blood, so you see that he died.
Yeah.
But Richard Kelly was even like, we did it, and we watched it, and we were like, nobody needs to see that.
No,
No.
he's rolled out on a fucking stretcher with
Yeah.
a blanket over
Yeah.
his head.
No,
you
that's
know.
perfect.
You know.
But yeah, it's this Gary Jules cover of Mad World. It's not acoustic, but
It is.
Is it?
It's like almost
symphonic.
acapella.
Yeah, I mean, there's piano and stuff, and they went through a few different songs for the end of this, and the guy who did the music for this had a story about calling the producer, and he's like, "I've got it. I know what the song is," and he was playing on the piano because most of this score is piano throughout this movie, other than those really intense scenes. And he starts playing this song and singing it over the phone to her, and she's like, "Yes, record that. This is it." And it's funny because this song went to #1 on the charts, at least in the UK, like the same year this movie ended up actually coming out in the UK, which may have helped it
Yeah.
because it did really well over there.
Well, they didn't have 9/11.
Yeah, that helped it too.
That helps.
But it's this very haunting version of Mad World by Tears for Fears.
And this is where I start fucking crying.
Of course you did.
I mean, this song is just fucking, I mean, it's been covered a bunch of times. We talked about it before we started recording. There's like a hardcore version that I remember from when I was younger by a group called Evergreen Terrace. The original is Tears for Fears. There's this one. Doesn't matter what version you're listening to.
I'm working on a reggae one.
It's a haunting song.
Yeah.
Because it's like the dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. You know, it's very poignant for this scene.
I find it kind of funny.
I find it kind of sad.
The
Jared's not
dreams in
singing.
which I'm dying.
Are the best I've ever had. Oh,
Yeah.
And I just have
it goes through a bunch
tears.
of the characters from the movie because now they're going to
They're
have
waking
memories,
up.
like we mentioned, right?
Yeah, the dad and both daughters are bawling. Mom is not
Mom gets woken
unsad,
up.
but she is just like,
Well, when we see them outside looking at the house when they know Donnie's dead, yeah, because she's
So-
got that, like, I think it's the detached, like,
Yes.
what is even happening
Yes.
right now?
So we have Frank
But in the
waking
montage,
up,
Frank is waking up and he's, like, touching his face.
and you see the bunny face because this is October 2nd again.
Yeah. And you see Kitty, Beth Grant,
I have
Sparkle Motion.
goosebumps.
She wakes up and she's holding the Jim Cunningham book, but she looks like she's in
Mortified.
She's cold sweats.
You get Patrick Swayze crying his eyes out.
Yeah, because he's like, holy shit,
someone's
And
gonna
I
burn a
think
painting
that's
of
why-
me, man.
I could get caught. I should stop doing this,
And,
but I won't.
And that's why
Yeah.
I think he signed off on it because he was like, I fucked up. It's showing that the person is fucked.
Well, in the
I think he signed off because he's an actor
Well,
that could act.
because he's Patrick Swayze
He's a
and he's
real one.
amazing.
the therapist is there, and she's disturbed because this is, again, these people all have these memories of what happened without knowing what happened.
Yeah.
We find out Noah Wiley and Drew Barrymore were fucking.
Ow!
She's asleep,
Which
but
it's-
he's awake and he looks disturbed.
It's
So-
been insinuated through the whole movie, though.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, they actually show them in bed together. Jenna Malone comes riding up on her bike, and she sees this little blonde kid, and she's like, what happened? He's like, one of my neighbors, jet engine or something there was an accident.
Got
One of my
squished by a
neighbors
jet
died.
engine.
He got smooshed.
Yeah,
By a jet
smooshed.
engine.
Hey, dude, it's almost like Hickish got smooshed by a jet engine.
And her and the mom have this really long, like, look at each other. It's kind of like a look of recognition, and she waves, and the mom waves, and that little kid has to interrupt by waving.
But did they ever really meet?
No, they've never met. That's why she asks what his name was, and the kid says, Donnie Darko. Did you know him? And
That's
she's
what I'm
like,
saying.
no.
Why does the mom recognize her?
It's from the tangential.
but
oh.
in the
I mean, we didn't see them meet, but I mean, she probably saw him.
Probably saw her
palling
around the
with her.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
okay,
because he was palling around with her a lot. You know, she
And
probably
he's
saw
plowing
him.
around with her.
you made my son happy for the best he ever had.
The best he ever had.
And that's the end of the movie. So that's my mental health movie.
Yeah, that tracks.
Let's let you start this one.
3 thumbs up, but they also have extra long fingernails.
I'm glad that you had me watch this again. I feel this is a movie you can watch numerous times and still pick up new things. Like, you feel one way about it, I felt one way about it, you felt one way about it, and we're all correct. And I can see where both of you are coming from with what you say. Everything about this movie was amazing, and I think it's a cult classic for a reason.
How many thumbs?
Oh, 3, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I was going to give it 2.5, but I don't know what I would change, so I will just give it 3. But unlike Whitney, I don't think I'm going to rewatch this much. I like what I got out of it a lot. Don't get me wrong. I want to keep it there. I don't want to learn more about it. I don't want to catch more things. I'll watch it. And
You
maybe
don't like
another...
the feels?
No, it's not that. It's because it's a good movie. I think it discusses some, like, I see why it's Derrick's mental health movie. It's because, like, oh, you feel like an outcast and you have some mental fucking problems.
Yeah.
And people are going to talk shit to you about that. And you got to tell them, fuck you.
Love it.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, especially at the time I saw this, which was like 2003, 2004, feel like an outcast. People, I just finished school. I was never the cool kid, so the outcast feeling
you
makes
also
sense.
didn't know what you were going to do when you grew up.
I was also a genius that nobody appreciated.
We still don't.
I do. I appreciate him.
Just don't tell them that.
I think and I did my thing real quick, but I'll just say I just think the cinematography, everything, the choreography, everything is just phenomenal. I understand why some people wouldn't like it. It's confusing. Like I said, the director's cut explains a little bit more, but it's also like it's not for everybody. This movie isn't made for a mass audience.
I will put it on a must-watch for a lot of my friends.
Definitely.
I don't think it's a must-rewatch.
I saw a thing, and it didn't give me a year, but I think it said like for us, like a thing in Australia was like the top 10 films you have to see, and it was like number 4 on that list.
Oh, wow.
I used to have, so when I went to college, I had to put all my DVDs in like the binders.
Ooh,
that's
yeah,
kind of a
the books.
sin for movies, but like I was going to college. I ain't got room for shelves of DVDs.
No, and they weren't 1080s.
And the way I had my stuff organized could confuse any normal person because I'm a little weird in my head. But it was by like alphabetical, but also director, and also some stuff was just grouped by like these movies belong together.
That's funny. That's how you have this shit done.
Yeah, there's a little bit. It makes a little more sense up here, but I had a page in there that was like, these are the movies that are like, well, guess it's time to die movies, and Donnie Darko, Kids, Requiem for a Dream. I can't remember. Was the
Which
fourth
we
one? The
almost
fourth one
did
might
that
have been
movie.
Gummo.
You know Gummo?
Of course, I know Gummo. Look
You
at
know
me.
Gummo, but you don't know Welcome to the Dollhouse.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, those were both introduced to me at the same time. That's why it blows my mind away.
But it's just like 4 movies that are like, why are you watching this again? And I'm
Okay.
like, because I feel like feeling like shit.
How many times do you watch Scrubs?
but
It's
that's
on
happy
rotation.
That's happy times.
Yeah, that is happy times.
Even though it's a lot of sad times.
But a lot of
Yeah.
happy times, too.
But they're always balanced with happy. Bill Lawrence is good like that. But yeah, I love this movie.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Wrong.
So I loved it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a fun watch.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
glad everybody
I
enjoyed
mean,
it.
fun, like happy joy. You come out of it good. I think you come out of it well.
Yeah.
We went into this with Jack being like, I'm going to sit over here and tell you how stupid this is. Like,
Because I didn't appreciate it when it was out. I really didn't.
yeah.
I
And then
I wouldn't have appreciated any of these fucking shots.
that's it for this episode. So our next one is going to be our Darko Classic movies, also for Mental Health Month. And I think we settled on doing Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971. So it fits into our Darko Classic movies parameters, but also it's one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's up there.
Fucking Gene Wilder is the most terrifying person on the planet.
And the
Children
most,
dying
and the
in a
most
chocolate
lovable.
factory.
No,
Yeah,
they
sounds
don't
great.
die.
Love it.
Oh, those kids die.
Not in the movie. They'll get returned home safely.
You never see him again. We'll take him to the taffy machine, stretch him out. He'll be fine.
See, he has a plan.
We're still doing another mental health movie for our Patreon this month, which you can find at patreon.com/worstpeople. It's only $3 a month. You get extra mental health movies every month, plus early access to Han Took Shots First, and we'll have more stuff coming there later. But our movie for this month is going to be Hot Fuzz, directed by Edgar Wright, written and directed by him and Simon Pegg, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. One of the best movies that's ever been put to celluloid. You can disagree with me, but you'd be wrong. So I don't give a shit. Thank you, Vasion, for our opening and closing music. That'll be it for this week. I have been Derrick.
I'm still Whitney.
I'm Jack.
Good night, and
Fuck you.
All right, are my levels okay? Did you figure out my volumes?
go ahead and talk.
I was just talking.
Yeah, but like the right way.
You go fuck yourself.
Well, that's not.
That is the right
There we
way.
go.
That
Okay,
is
got
the
it.
right
Yeah,
way.
yeah, you're good.
All right. I don't know how I talk.
just like this.